go-to choice since 1949. Renovating your kitchen or bath? Call Jenkins. Need new heating or air conditioning installation, service, or maintenance? They do that too. Jenkins handles it all. Ductless air systems, water heaters, boilers, oil service, plumbing, drain cleaning, and even water or sewer main repairs. Call 609-641-6262 or visit jenkinsandsons.com.
Hey, it's Mike Gill. It's time to spring into performance at Key Acura of Atlantic City. Go see my guy Rocco and see for yourself why they're South Jersey's largest ADX volume dealer. And now through April 30th, you can lease a sleek, sporty 2026 Acura Integra for just $199 a month for 36 months. Get to Key Acura on Tilton Road in Egg Harbor Township or visit KeyAcuraofAtlanticCity.com. Go see what all the excitement is about. Key Acura, the small but friendly dealer. See dealer for details.
Home of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill, 97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City.
Finally!
This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
We are live for Hanging with Hennig as the Philadelphia Eagles have rocked your world. 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Streaming live on YouTube and X at 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig, Dr. Squatch Virtual Studios. Alex Berardis is back from his LAX sabbatical. Alex, welcome back to the studio. How's the lacrosse life treating you?
It's been great. We got a big win yesterday. Dominating win yesterday, actually. But there's nothing more I love on Saturday mornings than being here with you, Josh.
Oh, aren't you sweet? Well, listen, we got a lot to get to here on the show on 97.3 ESPN because we got super agent Leigh Steinberg. He will join me coming up. He's got a new book that just came out. It's called The Comeback, a playbook for turning life setbacks into victories. He has had some of the biggest names in pro sports as his clients. Troy Aikman, Steve Young, Pat Mahomes. You might have heard of him, right? He's had all those guys. He's going to join us to talk about an agent's perspective on the NFL draft. Let's go the other side. I always hear about the players, right? How about the agent's perspective, right? Also, SiriusXM NHL radio host Scott Laughlin will join us. Scott will join us to talk about Flyers up 3-0 on the Pens tonight. Coverage begins at 8 o'clock here on 97.3 ESPN. Also, a reminder, we got breaking news. I'll get to it in a little bit. Not one, but two new sponsors are on board with us here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, and I will be on location hanging with you for Hanging with Hennig, 2 different dates coming up in the month of May. We will get to all that and more coming up on the show. Also, reminder, this is a Phillies-free zone until those overgrown children who need to cut their hair win a game. We do not talk about them here on Hanging with Hennig. Now, if someone texts in to the text board at 609-403-0973, and you have something to say about the Phillies, that's on you. But I ain't bringing them up. Alex ain't bringing them up. The Phillies, as my grandmother used to say, can take a long walk on a short pier. All right? But we are going to get to Flyers, Eagles, and more. How you guys feel about the Eagles draft? Flyers up 3-0 on the Pens. Vladar might not start tonight. How you guys feeling? Text board is open, 609-403-0973, and we are on the YouTube and X streams where you can join the conversation as well. But Alex, we got to start with the Eagles because Howie Roseman was doing Howie stuff yesterday. Big day for the Philadelphia Eagles yesterday. Now, first of all, can we just point out that there were a lot of people after they drafted Mekhi Lemon who were like, why did you draft a wide receiver? You need this, you need that. You know what Howie did? Howie said, hold my beer. I got you. Not once, not twice, but 3 huge additions. First of all, they replaced Jalen Phillips with Jonathan Grenard. And the big deal about Grenard, for those who don't know, he signed a new extension with the Eagles for $100 million. Only $50 million is guaranteed. So that means that you're not tied to this guy for the full 4-year term of this contract extension. You are only tied to him for a couple years. Howie doing Howie things, right? And the whole world was like, are the Eagles going to make a trade? Do they need to get a pass rusher? Do they need to draft a pass rusher? Conveniently enough, Jonathan Grenard at the Sixers game last night. Conveniently enough. So that deal was already in the works.
Wasn't there leaked audio that came out a week ago saying it was it happened, but then the guy was like, oh, I don't know if I was supposed to say that or not.
Well, here's the thing. It kind of came out initially, and then it got squashed by some people in the national media saying, we don't know if the deal's cooled off. The Vikings, the Eagles have cooled off. Well, then all of a sudden at the Sixers game last night. And then all of a sudden they make the announcement the trade's done. And it's like, all right, we all know what's going on here. Howie wanted to maintain his leverage. That's what happened, right? So for the Eagles, they get the pass rusher they need to replace Jalen Phillips. Then the moment that every one of you haters need to eat horse manure. Because right here on 97.3 ESPN, for months, I've been telling you about Vanderbilt tight end Eli Stowers. Well, apparently, me and Howie Roseman have the same mind because the Philadelphia Eagles drafted their tight end of the future. Now, I understand for some people, Stowers is not maybe physically in certain ways the type of tight end you want. But he has 2 things that you need. Number 1, he knows how to be a primary receiver. That's a huge part of this conversation. You needed a wide receiver tight end who knows how to be a high-level pass catcher. For the Heisman Trophy candidate Diego Pavia at Vanderbilt, Stowers was his go-to. He was his number 1. He was the top of the food chain when it came to the offense that ran at Vanderbilt. Now, I understand he's only been playing tight end for a few years. But you know who didn't play tight end in college? Antonio Gates. You know who played football and basketball in college? Tony Gonzalez. Why am I worried that this guy used to play quarterback? In my mind, I think that's a benefit. The guy used to be a quarterback, so that means he knows how to think like a quarterback. And now he comes to Philadelphia, he doesn't have to be the number 1. You got Dallas Goedert. He could be the number 2. He can learn how to play the position better at the NFL level. Does he need to put on a little size? Sure. But I feel pretty comfortable saying that the Eagles have built up guys before. Remember, Dallas Goedert was not a blocker at South Dakota State, but he became a blocker in the NFL. So I'm not worried about Stowers when it comes to that part of the game. This continues, finally, the lineage for Philadelphia. First, he was Chad Lewis. Then they drafted L.J. Smith. When they had L.J. Smith, they drafted Brent Selleck. When they had Brent Selleck, they drafted Zach Ertz. When they had Ertz playing in his prime, they drafted Dallas Goedert. And now Goddard, who's going to be, I believe he's going to be 31 years old, now they get Stowers. So again, check mark for Howie. Then, to add to all of this, they draft an offensive lineman who's their next project, Markel Bell. 6'9", I keep wanting to say 5'9". 6'9".
Big difference.
Big difference. I'm 5'9". He's 6'9". 6'9", 350-ish pounds. But the key with this guy is, look where he came from. He played for Miami. Who is the head coach of Miami? Mario Cristobal. Cristobal, a former O-line coach. So for those who don't know, Malialega, who went to the Giants in the first round, Bell was the other tackle on that line. So you had the guy who's dropping F-bombs on national television who played on that line, and the other guy who's a beast of a man who no one can get around a pass rush. Now, he needs to work on his run blocking. I get that. I totally understand that. But if you're going from a coach who's a former O-line coach, now he's coming to Philadelphia. Chris Cooper is your new offensive line coach in Philadelphia. He is a former starting offensive lineman in the NFL. Cooper is going to be the perfect person to help Bell make the transition from college to the NFL. Because at worst, Bell's going to be a swing tackle for years to come. But at best, there's an argument to be made that if he works out the way we hope and think he can, he's going to replace one of your tackles. And there's a strong case that Mailata could stay at left tackle and Bell is your right tackle in a few years. So I'm excited about the Eagles. I understand some of you out there, like on the text board at 609-403-0973, like Scott and Galloway says, let's go Flyers. I got you. Scott, we'll get to the Flyers in a bit. But Alex, for me, I know we're all flyered up in here. Flyers play tonight. But Howie dropping bombs yesterday, to me, was huge. Because on a night when the Sixers failed against the Celtics, when the Phillies continue to be losers at life, Howie Roseman continues to show you why he is the best general manager in the NFL.
Yeah, I've always been in the belief of let Howie cook, and Howie's going to cook, and he did exactly that. You, Josh, like you just mentioned, you've been on this Eli Stowers train since I think during the college football season you were on this Eli Stowers train.
I was a big Vanderbilt guy.
Yeah.
Never went there personally, but
I think, and that's been the MO for the Eagles. We've mentioned it many times on the show. You just mentioned it. You have the tight end in their last year with the team, then you draft the guy to fill in his role. I think it's going to do, the MO hasn't failed yet, really. Like, I don't see any world where this is going to fail either. And I hate to talk bad about Dallas Goedert, but health-wise, he hasn't been the most reliable.
That's true.
So I would say there's going to be a good chance that Eli Stowers is going to be your number one tight end, at one point during this year. And then Markel Bell. I mean, this guy is just a mountain of a human being. 6'9", 350 on that great Miami offensive line. I think the Mekhi Lemon pick was interesting only because I'm not going to rule out the fact that the Eagles wanted to go offensive line in that first round. It just so happened that in the 10 picks, from pick number 10 to pick number 20, 5 of them were offensive linemen.
And it's also the fact that the Eagles, so according to ESPN Sal Palantoni, he told Mike Gill in the Sports Bash that the Eagles and Jets had conversations about moving up. But according to ESPN's, dagnabbit, what is his name? Dan Graziano. He says that basically when Sadiq fell to the Jets, they just decided to take Sadiq and not make a trade. So, which, by the way, smart move by the Jets.
But
good job by the Jets. The Jets had a good first round of the draft.
And they're going to ruin his career.
You know what? Maybe not, because Frank Reich's there now.
How did you feel about the David Bailey pick? Because that was the one I felt like could have gone either him or Arvell Reese.
So it's funny you said that because I was actually on a live stream with my guy Andy McNamara for Lucky Rebel, and I predicted on the live stream they were going to pick David Bailey. And I said that because I thought the whole thing was a smokescreen. The moment that they were like, oh, we're canceling his visit, we had to get somebody else in here, that was the moment I was like, all right.
They know who they're going with.
You guys want him. You know you want him. You're just making everybody think you don't want him. So maybe someone will give up a ransom to come up to 3 to get somebody else. I thought Bailey was going to go all along there. And frankly, you could argue that both New York teams had a good first round of the draft because the Giants getting Reese is a huge move in addition for them as well. So the Eagles had to go big yesterday, Alex, because the Cowboys and the Giants both improved.
And so did Washington. People forget about Washington, but Sonny Styles, I mean, yeah, he was the combine darling, but
he's legit.
He's a legit player. And I think the entire NFC East got significantly better from this weekend.
And I think that for the Eagles, you had to get the edge rusher in Grenard, right? You had to go out there and put yourself in a position to make sure you had the tight end of the future, that you got in the first round of Kyle Lemon, who, by the way, this dude is going to be a massive star. I said it on my Instagram and X on Thursday night. This guy is a high-level route runner. He is aggressive. He attacks the football. He is unafraid of getting hit. For a man who's only 5'11", 6 foot, who's not the biggest, muscular dude in the world, he goes and tries to get the ball like he's much bigger. And whenever you see a guy playing bigger than their size, that's the player that you want, by the way. Steve Smith from Carolina all those years, not the tallest guy in the world, but he played bigger. Give me the guy who plays big than the guy who is big. And I'm not trying to cast any aspersions on anyone else in this draft, but Mike Gill brought this up on the Sports Bash this week here on 97.3 ESPN. You go back to that 2020 NFL draft, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs were both taken ahead of CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson.
Jalen Reagor included.
Well, I'm going with those two specifically because they were the two first.
I know. I had to just throw that name out there.
But the point is that you had two guys, one who is not even in the league anymore because he got in legal trouble in Ruggs, and Jeudy, who's had an okay career, not a great career, okay, he's been okay, but all right, nothing exciting. But those people passed up on CeeDee Lamb, who I think we all can agree is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL today. Justin Jefferson might be the best receiver in the NFL today. And so don't look at Lemon falling down the draft board as, well, the Eagles got somebody. No. They got a dude. And don't forget, you mentioned Jalen Reagor. All the reporting by people who are much smarter than us, guys that go inside the burbs with Jeff Mosher, Adam Kaplan, Derek Gunn, Jeff McClain at Philadelphia Inquirer. There's a lot of reporting out there. Howie Roseman wanted to draft Justin Jefferson, but Doug Peterson wanted Jalen Reagor. So Howie capitulated to the coaching staff because the coaching staff said we can use Reagor a certain way better than Justin Jefferson. Howie said, you know what? You're the coach. And actually, it's part of the reason why Doug Peterson got fired. Okay?
I mean, that's a very fireable offense there.
So, Howie this time, not just this time, the last couple times, look at who he's done. He wanted Devontae Smith, traded up and got him. He wanted Lemon, saw him dropping. And there are a lot of reports out there that Lemon was one of only 20 players who had a first-round grade in this year's draft. Matt Miller of ESPN, he was his number one receiver in this draft. So Lemon, highly regarded. Eli Stowers, highly regarded. Bell, very interesting prospect. You guys let me know how you are feeling on the text board. 609-403-0970. By the way, I do have some news for everybody. The Philadelphia Flyers have put out a statement that Vladar will start tonight. So there were concerns about Vladar coming into the game tonight, but the Flyers' official Twitter has put out that Vladar will be between the pipes. So I'm sure, Alex, you and every Flyers fan can breathe a sigh of relief.
I was actually considering if there was a game this playoff run that Ersson could start, it probably would be tonight. You're up 3-0, you're at home, Vladar's a little injured. Maybe you just see what Urs has. But I'm full, let's put Vladdy between the pipes. Let's lock this series up. Get him even more rest because we got to wait for all the other series to finish out before we can even play in the second round. So you get a win tonight. Vladar's going to rest up all the boys because nobody in that locker room is 100% right now. It's just playoff hockey. It's how that works. So, let's get the win tonight. Let's sweep these stinking Pens. Send Crosby and Malkin and Letang home crying. Those Yins back to Pittsburgh. And let's move on to Carolina. That's another series in itself. But I'm just focused on tonight. Let's get the job done tonight in Philly on Broad Street.
Yeah, so Vladar is going to start tonight. That's the news that came out a little while ago per the Flyers' official Twitter account. So we got some good news on that front. And, you need to finish the job. Finish the job tonight. Put the Pens out of their misery. Because you know what? I got a strong feeling that Ottawa-Carolina series ain't ending anytime soon. So you get rest while Carolina and Ottawa beat each other up a little bit, right?
Get as much rest as you possibly can. Sean Couturier, I got a feeling he can't be feeling 100%. He's flying around, throwing his body around. Owen Tippett's getting 11 hits in a game. This is a grueling series.
And by the way, for those who are wondering, why do I think that series could go longer? I understand Carolina's up 3-0, but the game today is in Ottawa. A lot of times when a team has got their back against the ropes, they're the home team, they typically win those games. You watch enough hockey playoffs, you know that's very, very, very hard. You know the Flyers have not swept anyone, Alex, since the 1995 NHL playoffs?
Jeez.
How's that for a stat for your Saturday over there?
Let's get us one right here tonight. And also, with that Carolina series, the Hurricanes are a very different team at home versus on the road.
That's very true.
Especially in the playoffs. They feed off that Hurricane storm surge at home, which I got a feeling we're going to be playing them in the next round. That's one of those where you just have to survive those first 10 minutes and then just play the rest of the game out. When they feed off that, like no other team I've seen, that barn is absolutely bonkers. But on the road, especially Ottawa's a good place. They got vets with like Claude Giroux. Brady Tkachuk's a warrior out there. Linus Ullmark between the pipes. They've got a squad over there, and I could see, like you said, this series going a little bit longer than just a 4-game series.
We'll get to more Flyers talk coming up with Scott Laughlin from SiriusXM AHL Radio coming up at 1 p.m. But I told you guys I got some breaking news for you guys. So the breaking news today, as we were talking Flyers and Eagles to start the show here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, I want to welcome my newest sponsor to the show, Boulevard Super Liquors. We will be there Saturday, May 23rd. That's the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. Come on down, hang out with myself and Mike Carlin. We'll be out there hanging with Hennig 12 to 3 p.m. at Boulevard Liquors on Roosevelt Boulevard, right before the bridge heading into Ocean City. And the great thing about Boulevard Liquors is they got everything. Anything you can think of. Every beer, every vodka, every wine, every rum, gin, anything you can think of, they got it in stock. You never go into Boulevard Liquors worrying about, are they going to have what I like? No, they got everything you could ever think of. We're going to have prize giveaways on Saturday, May 23rd for Hanging with Hennig at Boulevard Liquors right here on 97.3 ESPN. It's going to be a great day. Prize giveaways. Shout out to Dave and the team over down there at Boulevard Super Liquors. It's going to be a great day. We're going to have special guests coming on the show. So we're looking forward to having Boulevard Super Liquors as part of the Hanging with Hennig team here for the summer on 97.3 ESPN. More dates to be determined down the road. And, of course, I mentioned there's another remote coming up next month because, it's almost the end of April. We're warming up. So it's Hanging with Hennig hitting the road. I'm going to be on the road a lot this summer, and next Saturday, I am so excited. We will be at one of my favorite breweries in all of South Jersey, Gusto Brewing Company. We will be there. Smoker and Adele will be slinging food out in the parking lot because we are going to be there. Gusto is going to drop not one, but 2 new brews in conjunction with Star Wars weekend. You guys know I'm a geek. So, of course, I'm going to go hang out with some geeks, talk some sports, and have some brews with you, Hanging with Hennig, Gusto Brewing, next Saturday, 12 to 3 p.m. on 97.3 ESPN. He's Alex Berardis. I'm Josh Hennig. Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Coming up in about 7 minutes from now, we will be joined by Leigh Steinberg. Leigh, the NFL super agent for guys like Pat Mahomes, Steve Young, Troy Aikman, and more. He will join us to talk about the NFL draft from an agent's perspective, as well as his brand new book, The Comeback, a playbook for turning life setbacks into victories. Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. As always, being brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook, the only sportsbook app with Caesars Rewards. That means every bet you place on every sport does more for you. More perks, more ways to play, more ways to level up your experience, only like Caesars Sportsbook can offer. Getting started is simple. Download the app, use my promo code RADIO, DYW. They'll place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 10 bets. 10 chances to boost your play just for stepping onto the field with Caesars. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And Flyers tonight at 8 o'clock. If you want to punish yourself and watch the Phillies tonight and tomorrow, or the Sixers game tomorrow night at 7, well, you can watch all the games and more with my friends over at Hang Time Bar and Grill on the White Horse Pike in Galloway. Spring into fun with friends and family and enjoy your next night out at Hang Time Bar and Grill, located on the White Horse Pike in Galloway. With live music every Tuesday night, DJ Bingo every Wednesday night, and 30 TVs to watch your favorite teams play, good times and great food is waiting for you at Hang Time Bar and Grill. Check out Facebook and Instagram to learn more about Hang Time Bar and Grill's weekly specials and one of the best happy hours in South Jersey. On the White Horse Pike in Galloway at Hang Time Bar and Grill.
For 23 years, we've helped athletes at all levels of Clemic Performance Method, from youth to pros, increase maximum velocity, acceleration, vertical leaps, and general physical preparedness. We offer youth, high school, and pro college classes. Our proven results have earned national recognition from NFL coaches, sponsors, and a feature on ESPN Radio's Sports Science segment. You can contact me directly at 609-742-6190, or as always, visit us on our website, ClemicPerformanceMethod.com.
It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down. At RK Kia of Vineland, all you need is $29. Even if your credit is so bad, your Nana won't loan you money. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. Save thousands with even pricing on new Kia Sportage, Sorrentos, K5s, the entire Kia lineup. Even the all-new 2027 Telluride. Plus, acres of Kia certified pre-owned. And get 0% financing at RK Kia. Plus, you get RK coverage, no charge, ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. Save thousands and make no payments for 90 days. It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down for a limited time only at RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com. To qualified buyers plus tax entitled. For details, call 856-641-1111 or myrkkia.com.
Go to get your game on at the Fanatic Sportsbook in the Gallery at Ocean Casino Resort. Go where fans become fanatics at the Fanatic Sportsbook in the Gallery. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com.
Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at radiodirect.com/privacy. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. Text help for help. Consult a doctor prior to use.
Wow, you look amazing. What have you been doing?
You've heard of Ozempic, Wegovy, and the other GLP-1 medications that are all over the news, right? Well, I found this great company called Zelfie. And if you qualify, you can get medications like Ozempic and Wegovy and other GLP-1s at 80 to 90% savings without insurance. All 100% online.
Wait, I can get GLP-1 medications for 80 to 90% less and do it all online? No long wait at the doctor's office or pharmacy?
Yes, Zelfie can provide semaglutide and tirzepatide, the active ingredients in Ozempic and other expensive GLP-1s, for 80 to 90% less and shipped direct to your door.
Amazing. How do I get started?
Just send them a text.
Text BLISS to 797979 to get started today with Zelfie. Get the same active ingredients in Wegovy or Ozempic for 80 to 90% less, 100% online. Don't wait. Text BLISS to 797979 right now for your exclusive offer. Text BLISS to 797979. That's BLISS to 797979.
Is your trading stopping you from shopping? It's time to drop in some Matt Black Nissan.
We need your trade-in today, and we're willing to overpay.
At Matt Black Nissan and at Matt Black Affinity.
AJ the trade-in man will pay you up to $4,000 over a Kelley Blue Book fair trade value for any trade-in in any condition, even if it's not paid off.
New 26 Matt Black Nissan Rogue, just $269 per month.
New 26 Matt Black Nissan Kicks, just $289 a month.
Or finance select new Nissan or Infiniti at 0% APR for 60 months.
Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. Our lenders can get almost anyone approved.
Come see us today at Matt Black Nissan and at Matt Black Infiniti.
And the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township.
It's time to drop in some Matt Black Nissan.
With approved credit,
Go to mattblacknissan.com for details or 877-289-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes. $16.67 per thousand financed for 60 months at 0 APR through NMAC. Negative trade equity refinanced. Subject to lender approval. Offers don't combine. Expires month end.
When it comes to injuries, you can't afford to get it wrong. Insurance companies, they delay, deny, and pay as little as possible. Who's on your side? The law offices of Craig A. Altman. Car accidents, slip and falls, serious workplace injuries. They build cases to put real pressure on the other side. And you pay nothing unless they win. Don't guess, don't wing it. Call 856-327-8899 or visit CraigAltmanLaw.com. Local office in Vineland, backed by a Philly firm that knows how to win.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I don't want them to gain another yard.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
You blitz all night.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Hanging with Hennig back here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. Streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios. Joining right now, I'm excited to have him back on. We've had him on here with me on 97.3 ESPN before, but it's a special occasion, not just because it's the NFL draft, but he's got a brand new book. I'm already about 4 chapters into it. The Comeback, a playbook for turning life setbacks into victories. The one and only, the legendary agent Leigh Steinberg joins me right now on 97.3 ESPN. Leigh, welcome back. How you doing today?
Just peachy.
Leigh, before we get to the book, because I'm already 4 chapters in, and I'm absolutely captivated with the book. Can you talk to the audience for a minute about, as an agent, what is the draft like? Because I got to imagine, a lot of people, they might be able to put themselves in the player's shoes, right? Reaching a lifelong dream. But the agent, that's a whole nother layer of the conversation. So what are these days of the draft like from the agent's perspective?
They're my favorite days of the year. Draft day is like no other because you have the stored up practices and discipline since Pop Warner. And the players who are not in Pittsburgh are at home surrounded by friends and family and teammates. And hopefully I've been able to interact with teams enough that I have a pretty strong sense of who the hot teams are that might pick a player off the board. So you're hoping to not have them surprised, but ready for it. You especially don't want to send someone back to the draft who might be a plummeting draft pick. So if you can't find a team that has said, yes, we will take him when our turn comes, you have to be cautionary. So draft time is not real time. It feels like water torture time. Waiting for those picks, every second is like a minute. Every minute is like an hour. Drip, drip, drip. And then the tension ratchets up and there's heavy anxiety, and all of a sudden the player's picked and joy and rhapsody breaks out, and it's a real rush.
You mentioned about the drip, and I think what's interesting is that you've been someone who's represented all kinds of different players over the years, and for you've had guys who have gone to the top of the draft, other guys who have gone later in the draft. How do you prepare somebody for so many scenarios that no one can foresee coming? Like we saw in this year's draft, a lot of people, they didn't know what the Jets were going to do, right? With their pick. They didn't know what the Cardinals were going to do. So you have guys sitting there waiting to hear their name, and they're trying to be like, what do I do? How do I handle this situation? What has been kind of your way of handling those guys over the years?
Again, if I've done a honest reach out to teams, they're pretty honest in terms of what their intentions are. They're not honest with the press. They're not honest with people in the public because they don't want other teams to know what their intentions are. But they are honest with me as long as I don't cross-fertilize the information. So we're rarely totally surprised because those teams preparatory to having a smooth draft day have called and said, if you're available on the board, we're going to pick you. And so they may be spread out. It may be that the number 3 team passes on the player, but the number 7 team in draft order is one of the hot teams. So you're looking for that, and you're hoping to assuage anxiety by good preparation. So if I'm sitting there with Patrick Mahomes, we know that the Chiefs are really interested in him, but they're low in draft order. We know that New Orleans and Houston are sitting right there at 11 and 12, and boom, then Kansas City trades to 10.
Talking with NFL super agent Leigh Steinberg, one of the best of all time at what he does. He has a brand new book that has come out called The Comeback, a playbook for turning life setbacks into victories. And Leigh, for you, what I love with the book so far is you're taking your own experience and kind of doing a contrast with other people's experiences. Like the part about how you say, hey, when I went through difficult times, I ended up going to alcohol addiction, right, for you. Whereas Steve Young, he went to education. So for you, how important was it when you were writing this book, not just to tell your story, but give examples about other people's experiences?
So, Josh, the key is that in life, we all experience reverses. It could be financial, it could be health, it could be marital, or it could be substance abuse. And so I used my own experience battling alcohol to illustrate a way when life throws reverses that you can actually find light at the end of the tunnel, be resilient, and come back. And then I tell stories of Warren Moon and Patrick Mahomes and Troy Aikman and Steve Young, a series of players who experienced reverses. So it's Troy Aikman being told he'd be the be-all and end-all for the Dallas Cowboys in 1989. And so he prepares with a team that doesn't have much talent to sort of gut it out and be through that. But then what happens? A month later, they have another draft called the supplemental draft, and the Dallas Cowboys select Steve Walsh, who just led new coach Jimmy Johnson to the national championship, and you have a quarterback controversy. So there are all sorts of real life situations. I wrote it to try to help people who may be struggling with their own life crisis.
Well, I love it so far because it's such a book that kind of, recalibrates the way you look at things. For me, I look at it as like, no matter where someone is in life, people are going through stuff, as you said. So it's a great opportunity for people that kind of like sit there, hear other people's experiences and say, wow, I've been through something like that, or have I seen something like that? And for you, Leigh, you've been a best-selling author before. How much of this book was a challenge, being so willing to be open and vulnerable as you were?
So I had written Winning with Integrity, which is the 12 steps of essential negotiation. I had written an auto-buy, The Agent, and I wrote a book on the concussion issue, athletic concussion, with 2 doctors. And I thought, what lifetime would I wait to share my own experiences? Because my father had 2 core values. One was treasure relationships, especially family. And the second was try to make a meaningful difference, heal pain, and help people who can't help themselves. And I thought, what lifetime would I be waiting for to be vulnerable and share this? And if I can help one person deal with their life challenges, then it's been a success.
Talking with Leigh Steinberg here. Of course, for those who may remember, Leigh was the inspiration for the movie Jerry Maguire. And one of our listeners just texted into the text board at 609-403-0973. Pat in Ocean City, Leigh, wants to know, can you tell us about your experience on the show Beverly Hills 90210? I believe that was back in 1995 the episode dropped, correct?
Yeah. So with Jerry Maguire, the writer-director Cameron Crowe followed me around for about a year and a half. And everywhere I went, whether it was the NFL draft or league meetings or pro scouting day at USC or games or spending time in my office, I told them lots and lots of stories. And it's been 30 years now, but I rarely walk into an airport or go out to dinner where someone didn't run up to the table and says those 4 words, "Show me the..." Beverly Hills 90210, the plot line was that Donna, played by Tori Spelling, wanted to throw a birthday party for her boyfriend, and he idolized Steve Young. So she goes to enormous extent to try to make this happen. And I'm driving for my scenes, I'm driving a Jaguar, and I'm coming out of a studio, and she jumps on my car. And so I'm not going to quit my day job, but some of those cameos I did were sort of fun.
I got to imagine also for you, like during that era, it was the world before social media. So, getting that kind of exposure for you and kind of, as you've talked about in other interviews, you and I talked in the past about, humanizing the profession of an agent. Like, it's such probably a cool experience to be like, hey, I'm getting people to see that there's a human side to what I do.
Josh, you got the point exactly, which is that people had stereotypes about agents. They didn't realize the real caring. The relationship of Rod Tidwell in that movie to Jerry Maguire was sort of based on my interactions with Warren Moon and true caring. And I take a holistic point of view towards representation. We care a lot about health and wellness, protecting the player from concussion, second career, and a variety of planning that has to do with me listening very carefully to a young man and understanding him at a deeper level.
Leigh, before I let you go, and I always appreciate you making the time for us here on 97.3 ESPN, I got to ask you, as someone who works in the space, we have a whole new dynamic in today's world, which is athletes coming to the NFL who dealt with NIL in college. And I've heard some former athletes say that I've heard Robert Griffin III say that he feels like this is going to help athletes be better managers of their money and their time because they had to do it in college before they got to the NFL. Is that an observation that you have made, that you're seeing these guys maybe come more prepared for life off the field because of NIL?
Well, they certainly are. Now, NIL is out of control because what they wanted to do is an adjustment to the fact that certain players were living at a lower standard of living than their non-athletic peers who could work during the school year to supplement their income, turned into Star Wars. And so now you have the best quarterback in the 2025 group, Underwood, goes to LSU. They offer him $4 million. He's all happy. And then a big Michigan alum comes along and offers him $14 million, and off he goes. But this whole generation is different. They grow up on social media. They understand branding and marketing. They think of themselves as a brand. They try to create lots of followers to create a revenue stream from their social media. And so they're all tuned into that. In terms of financial planning, the key for an athlete is to get a financial planner the minute that they start to come into money, who will work with them on budgeting, on a long-term plan. And those players don't experience financial problems.
He's Leigh Steinberg. Of course, the brand new book, it just came out, The Comeback, a playbook for turning life setbacks into victories. I'm thoroughly enjoying how Leigh weaves his own experiences with the experience of others in the book. Leigh, great book. I'm really enjoying it, and I appreciate you. You always make great time for me here on 97.3 ESPN.
Well, anytime.
Josh Hennig hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City, streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios. Great stuff there from the one and only Leigh Steinberg. Hey, don't forget, hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, be brought to my friends of Prevail Nutrition, the best meal prep service in South Jersey. Listen, summer's right around the corner. Our schedules are getting even busier. So you got to make sure that when you're preparing for all the activities you have going on, you are eating good. And Prevail Nutrition can do that for you. For almost a decade, they have been serving South Jersey, delivering to Atlantic and Cumberland counties, plus Ocean City. Free delivery on orders over $50. And don't forget their new schedule. You have to order by midnight tonight to get your meals ready for Monday, or you got to order by Wednesday night for delivery on Friday. PrevailNutrition.club. Find out why they're my go-to meal prep service, because I'm always on the go and I need some good food to fuel me throughout the week. PrevailNutrition.club. They're my go-to meal prep service, and they should be yours as well. Josh Hennig hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Check back in on the text board on the other side. 609-403-0973. Also, Alex Berardis joining me here in the studio. And don't forget, coming up 15 minutes from now, SiriusXM NHL radio host Scott Laughlin joins us, talking about the Flyers-Penguins series and the Eastern Conference playoffs right here. Flyers, by the way, tonight, they could go for the sweep. Can they do it? Find out when Tim Saunders calls all the action with Todd Fedoruk on 97.3 ESPN.
It's Flyers-Penguin Game 4 on 97.3 ESPN. The Flyers take on the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight. Listen as Tim Saunders and Todd Fedoruk call all the Flyers playoff action.
Martone spins into the right wing circle, looks at the net with a shot, he scores! Oh, Porter Martone!
It's Flyers-Pens Game 4 tonight. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. on South Jersey's home for Flyers playoff hockey. 97.3 ESPN. And listen live on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Tired of cooking and planning all of your meals each and every day? You need Prevail Nutrition to simplify your life. For almost a decade, Prevail Nutrition is a local meal prep company located in South Jersey that allows customers to design their own meal plan. Or you can choose from a wide variety of chef-designed meals on their weekly changing Prevail Selects menu. You can order online for pickup or get free delivery on orders of over $50. Prevail Nutrition delivers to Atlantic and Cumberland counties along with Ocean City. Or you can pick up your meals every Monday and Friday. Learn more about how Prevail Nutrition can simplify your life. Visit their website at PrevailNutrition.club. Check out Prevail Nutrition on Facebook and Instagram. Prevail Nutrition is my go-to choice for prepared meals and foods. Order online, like me, at PrevailNutrition.club.
Making your home look brand new is what Work of Art Construction can do for you. Ready to remodel your bathroom or have a kitchen makeover? Art Masker has 40 years of experience in construction and knows how to make your home look like a work of art. Want to install a new back deck or invest in a new front door? Just call Art Masker at 609-788-4271 to learn more. Visit Work of Art Construction on Instagram to see how Work of Art Construction can make your home look brand new. Beautify your home with Work of Art. Call him at 609-788-4271 and let them make your home truly a work of art.
Spring is here. Time for a fresh start behind the wheel. Tired of the runaround? Then drive to Bridgeton Auto Mall, your destination for spring savings. We're clearing out inventory with big savings on new and pre-owned vehicles, SUVs, sedans, trucks. Find the perfect ride at a price you'll love. And keep it running like new with our award-winning service department. From oil changes to major repairs, our certified pros have you covered. Don't wait. Spring into savings today at Bridgeton Auto Mall. Sales, service, satisfaction. 808 North Pearl Street, Bridgeton, or drivebam.com.
Spring is here, which means now is the time to save during spring outdoor power deals at the Home Depot. Power through cleanup with the Ryobi 18-volt ONE+ trimmer and blower combo kit, designed to deliver more runtime, more speed, and maximum performance. Then level up your yard work and expand your Ryobi lineup with the expanded edger or pruning saw, included at no extra cost when you buy the Ryobi combo kit. Shop spring outdoor power deals for 7 days at the Home Depot, now through April 29th.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
Is your home ready for the summer heat? Now is the perfect time to schedule your spring tune-up. If it's time to replace your old air conditioning system, trust Jenkins, the company local homeowners have relied on for 75 years. Enjoy no-interest financing and generous rebates. Plus, check with your local utility company for additional financing and rebate offers. Qualifications may apply. Call them at 609-641-6262 or visit them online at jenkinsandsons.com.
It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down. At RK Kia of Vineland. All you need is $29. Even if your credit is so bad, your Nana won't loan you money. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. Save thousands with even pricing on new Kia Sportage, Sorrentos, K5s, the entire Kia lineup. Even the all-new 2027 Telluride. Plus acres of Kia certified pre-owned. And get 0% financing at RK Kia. Plus, you get RK coverage, no charge, ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. Save thousands and make no payments for 90 days. It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down for a limited time only at RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com. Qualified buyers plus tax entitled. For details, call 856-641-1111 or myrkkia.com.
When it comes to injuries, you can't afford to get it wrong. Insurance companies, they delay, deny, and pay as little as possible. Who's on your side? The law offices of Craig A. Altman. Car accidents, slip and falls, serious workplace injuries. They build cases to put real pressure on the other side. And you pay nothing unless they win. Don't guess, don't wing it. Call 856-327-8899 or visit CraigAltmanLaw.com. Local office in Vineland, backed by a Philly firm that knows how to win.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Hey, you know what? There's another name you might know me by. Star-Lord.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Who? Star-Lord, man. Legendary outlaw.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Back here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget, we still have Scott Laughlin from SiriusXM NHL Radio still to come, along with the Ivy Rehab Injury Report. It's the only Phillies conversation you're getting today, because we're talking about JT Realmuto's back and Roberto Duran. You know, it's the second time he's had an oblique injury, Duran, so I'm a little worried.
There's just a lot going wrong.
My bad.
There's just a lot going wrong.
I actually had the
Phillies.
wrong mic on. So.
Oh, nice. But actually, some Flyers news that just happened during your last interview.
Talking about the Penguins goalie?
Yep, Artur Silovs is getting the start, which I guess, because to me, I don't think you blame Skinner for those losses. I think, if anything, he's kept you in those games as best he could.
Well, you know you do blame. Really quick before we get to the text, I see Shannon EHC and others at 609-403-0973. You know who I blame? This is where the Penguins' real problem is. Their coach is a turd. Okay?
Dan Hughes.
That dude is the biggest whiner after games I've ever seen for an NHL coach. First of all, for that guy to think that Owen Tippett getting his nose busted was Owen Tippett's fault is the dumbest thing in the world. He has no accountability for his players. He never says, hey, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't start a brawl. Maybe Brian Rust shouldn't jump on top of Travis Konechny, okay? Like, he makes it like it's all the Flyers' fault. Every press conference, he has made like the Flyers are the bad guys, when it's his own players who 9 times out of 10 are instigating this stuff.
I think the dumbest comment I've heard him say was that Sidney Crosby is not an embellisher.
Right.
What?
When literally he's like a soccer player.
Now, he's gotten better at it. I will say, like, I feel like the crybaby.
When he was
flopper,
younger, he was Sid the crybaby.
Yeah, I think he's grown up from that.
Yes,
but I think in this series, Sid, I don't know. It might just be that Sid has realized the Penguins are in way too in over their heads, and he's just got to somehow go back to old tactics to maybe help this team out.
And it's not working.
No, but I actually don't blame Skinner. Skinner was getting the Skinner chance all in Philly, which was great. But I think that might just be a call from Muse saying, I got to make some sort of adjustment here.
Yeah, because Muse is an idiot.
But Seelovs, he has postseason
experience
with Vancouver. He's had some wins against Edmonton Oilers with McDavid and Leon, so that's something if you want to look at it. But I don't know. I still see the Flyers going in. The barn's going to be crazy tonight. I think it's going to be another Flyers win, and it's going to be a Flyers sweep.
Couple of texts coming in at 609-403-0973. Shaner in EHT says, great interview, Josh. Love the perspective from Leigh Steinberg. My lead and I are oranged up. I think this is the toughest game this season to fight complacency. You think the Fire will be there and close it out? I think this team is young enough, Alex, that the Fire shouldn't be an issue, right? I feel like maybe if it was more like a slightly more veteran-laden team, that maybe they might be like, oh, we've been here before. Whereas this team, it feels like it's all new and fresh to them.
Yeah, I think it might have been one of those things, like when kids go to war, they're not scared because they're just so young and naive. They've never been there. They're young. They're naive. I think the Flyers had a little bit of that going into this. The Flyers, the young guys, didn't know what to be nervous or anxious about because they've never experienced that kind of stuff. So I think that played into the favor of the Flyers. It really did. And because the young guys have been just buzzing around. Now, a guy who I would like to have seen get some minutes, but when you go up 3-0, you don't really want to change anything that's going on because obviously things are clicking. I would have liked to seen Alex Bump get some minutes because I really like his play.
You like to see a Bump in his play?
Yeah, actually. But I do like seeing Bump play. I think a guy like Denver Barkey kind of wasn't seeing as many minutes as he probably was used to, but Tockett's got these guys going, the youth's going, and I feel like once we get the sweep moving into the next round, these kids might be chomping at the bit to get right back out there.
Couple more texts to get to before we wrap up the hour. 609-403-0973. George from Summers Point says, hey, guys, I just want to thank you for the last segment with Leigh Steinberg. Your interview brought out things I would never thought of when I came to a sports agent. Leigh seems like a real great person behind the persona that's presented to the world. I'm glad I was able to listen to your interview today. Well, thank you, George. I appreciate that. I got to say, Leigh is an incredible human being. Years ago when I first got started here at 97.3 ESPN, he was kind enough to come on with me. Basically, it was like right before or after Pat Mahomes got drafted. So it was like for a guy like Leigh to jump on with a guy like me almost 10 years ago and still jump on sometimes ever since. It just kind of goes to show you the quality of character of that guy. So I do appreciate that. Anonymous texter, because only an anonymous texter would text this in, Alex, at 609-403-0973. Mr. Anonymous says, okay, Bell's a big dude, but he's not NFL ready unless the Eagles address the offensive line issues. All these Howie moves will be forgotten as the offense will continue to be 3-and-out machine.
Cool, dude.
Well, first of all, anonymous texter, you're overlooking the fact that the Eagles had injuries to not one, not two, but 3 of the stars of the O-line last year. So that could maybe be an issue, right? Maybe injuries and guys being healthier. Maybe the Eagles are saying we're betting that our guys will be healthier this year. Jurgens went to Germany to get a special treatment for his back. The last time I heard an athlete go to Germany for a special treatment, his name was Kobe Bryant. Worked out pretty well for him, by the way. But I digress. Mr. Anonymous, we appreciate you joining the hater brigade here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. He's Alex Berardis. I'm Josh Hennig. Coming up on the other side, Scott Laughlin from SiriusXM NHL Radio will get his national perspective on the Flyers-Penguins series. Flyers go for the sweep tonight. And, of course, don't forget, more your text all the next hour, 609-403-0973.
Sunday morning in the locker room with Billy Schwein, producer Alex Berardis, and Aaron Ewing join me in the studio. Hour 1, we'll talk Phillies baseball and go on the mound with former Phillies pitcher Tommy Green, brought to you by Blitz's Market of Ocean City. Then we'll recap the Flyers' Saturday night action in Game 4 against the Penguins. Hour 2, Mr. Negadelphia P.J. Corda checks in with his thoughts, brought to you by the Vassar Pool Service. Sixers, Eagles talk and more. It's the Locker Room with Billy Schwein, Sunday morning from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN.
Beyond their delicious flavor, avocados offer a wealth of health benefits. And here are just a few. They're loaded with heart-healthy monosaturated fat that can lower bad cholesterol and reduce the risk of heart disease. Their abundant fiber helps to make us feel fuller, promotes digestion, and assists in blood sugar regulation. Avocados are also packed with vitamin K, essential for bone health and calcium absorption. Rich in potassium, avocados help maintain healthy blood pressure. And these little green fruits contain antioxidants to shield against free radicals. Whether you're eating guacamole, adding avocado to a sandwich or salad, or using it in another recipe, avocados are a fantastic addition to a healthy diet. I'm Robin Stoloff for Health Update.
Did you know rechargeable lithium-ion batteries should never go in the trash? They can spark fires and put collection workers at risk. Dispose of them safely at ACUA household hazardous waste drop-offs or recycle them at participating hardware and battery stores. Learn more at acua.com/batteries.
The 2026 NFL Draft on ESPN Radio, live from the North Shore of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
You know, I have a unique blend of athleticism and size at this position.
All the teams are sitting there just absolutely licking their chops. He doesn't have the big-time arm strength. He's good, not elite.
The 2026 NFL Draft.
What will the Eagles do in rounds 4 through 7? Tune in to find out. It's the 2026 NFL Draft. Later today on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 3 p.m.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house, it's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications that top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars Rewards. Bet every game like a Caesar and earn perks on every bet. Hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, all in one app. Download the app with promo code RADIODYW and place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 10 bet. Open to new users in New Jersey who are 21 or older. Max bet of $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings $2,500 per bet. Profit boost tokens expire 14 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They got him again!
Sixers.
Bang! It's good! Ball game!
And Flyers.
Tipped in front of the net!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Finally! This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Hanging with Hennig back here on 97.3 ESPN Hour 2. Alex Berardis joining me in the 97.3 ESPN studios. Flyers up 3-0, back in action tonight. You know, maybe you want to celebrate them, maybe getting a soup of the Penguins. So you want to stop by my friends over at Boulevard Super Liquors on Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora. Maybe get a couple things so you can enjoy it when the Flyers advance to the next round. But how? How did this happen? Scott Laughlin from SiriusXM NHL Radio joins us right now to talk about the Flyers up 3-0 and the state of the Eastern Conference playoffs right here on 97.3 ESPN. Scott, welcome back. How you doing this Saturday?
I'm doing well, Josh. Yourself?
I'm doing good because the Flyers are trying to do something they've done since 95, sweep a playoff series. Scott, it's one thing they were like, could they maybe make the playoffs? But now they're on the verge of completely taking the Penguins out of the postseason.
Yeah, to me it's surprising. I mean, I thought Pittsburgh at the very least would put up much more resistance. They'd put much more up of a fight. But I think what we've seen so far is the youthful, energetic Flyers are just a little bit too quick, a little bit too fast. for this veteran group of Pittsburgh Penguins. I think in every conceivable category so far in this series, the Flyers have outplayed the Penguins. From the goaltender out, it's been Philadelphia all the time, too. It's been really impressive to watch, and I think have been impressed, and I think all Flyers fans, I could speak for them when they would say that, being 9 points out through about 62 games this season and still making the playoffs, that was mission accomplished and job number one. Now, like you say, why not get a little bit greedy here? Why not try to advance in the Stanley Cup postseason? And they bought into Rick Tocchet's system from a defensive standpoint better than I thought that they could. Then you factor in a little bit of Porter Martone here to give that team an offensive boost and push, and you're at where you're at right now, which is on the verge of sweeping away a team that's got a couple of future Hockey Hall of Famers on its roster.
Scott, we talked before, you and I, about the erratic goaltending in the Flyers over the years. And, you could argue that Dan Vladar is the biggest addition of the Danny Briere era. For you, what you've seen from Vladar, who, by the way, reports have come out that he will start tonight in between the pipes. For you, how big has Vladar been as someone who you knew where he was coming from? He was not this back in Calgary.
Yeah, and before that, too, you take it back even further. He was a prospect in the Bruins system, and as we know, they also had a guy named Brandon Bussey who's made a name for himself this season with Carolina with the 31 wins he's had as a 27-year-old rookie. But I remember Vladar coming up in that Providence system, too, and you thought this guy's got a chance to be a player in the NHL, to be a real good goaltender in the NHL. As you say, didn't kind of work out there. Certainly didn't work out in Calgary as a 1A or a backup goaltender. So he was given the opportunity in Philadelphia to make it work, and boy, he has done that for sure. Sam Ersson, to his credit as well, as you know, has played well down the stretch and is a pretty good option as a backup. But I'm ultimately happy, Josh, that he's going to get a chance to close it out tonight, Dan Vladar. He's earned that opportunity. You talk about him being a big guy, and literally and figuratively, he's made a difference for the Philadelphia Flyers. And just goes to show, again, some guys that come up through the system, they're kind of earmarked for being NHL goalies. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you get there, sometimes you don't. This guy's stuck to it. He's the type of goaltender that, again, blocks out a lot of the sun for sure in taking away angles and such, too. So I think he's done a fantastic job. And, look, I don't have to tell Flyers fans that it's been this continual search to have that answer between the pipes that's going to be able to win at playoff time, and it looks like they finally got their guy.
Scott, keeping it with the goalie talk, the Pittsburgh Penguins just said that they're going to be starting Artur Silovs instead of Stuart Skinner tonight. Is that more of a move just to, we got to change something here? Because I personally do not blame this series on Skinner, even though he's been benched multiple times in his playoff career. Is that more just to light a fire under their guys and just to get something going for the team?
Absolutely, 100% correct. We spoke on this on our program a couple of days ago, too, and right away we said we'd go with Artur Silovs in game number 4 if you're Pittsburgh. And as Dan Muse said earlier this morning, too, guys, look, he said this is not on Skinner. This is because we've lost the first 3 games. They're just looking for a spark right now. And, yeah, Skinner hasn't been horrible. Has he been as good as Dan Vladar? No. He hasn't been horrible, though. He hasn't been as maligned as he was in Edmonton throughout the course of their runs, which ironically, of course, got them to the Stanley Cup final in back-to-back playoff runs. But it's time for a change. If you're Pittsburgh right now, you're doing anything to get your team a spark, and whether it's just a different look in net or other roster adjustments that Dan Muse might make in advance of tonight's game, we'll have to wait and see. But I think Pittsburgh had to do this. And again, it's not on goaltending. He made that clear. I think we can all see that. But they're just trying to spark their team right now. And Silovs has been a guy who's played well for them during the course of the season. He's a guy who had some world championship success for his country as well over the last couple of years. He's played well for them, like we say, as a 1A compliment to the starting goaltender Skinner this season, too. So I think this is what Pittsburgh had to do. We'll see if it pays any dividends coming up tonight.
Talk with SiriusXM NHL radio host Scott Laughlin joining us here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig, Alex Berardis in the 97.3 ESPN studios. Scott, speaking with the Penguins for a minute, you got to help me here because you've been covering this league for a while. I can't remember a head coach who was more of a crybaby than Dan Muse. After everyone, literally the guy acts like his players never do anything wrong. When Owen Tippett gets cross-checked and he's got a bloody nose on the boards, he blames Tippett in the Flyer style of play for why his guys are doing things. His guy, Dan Russ, jumped on top of Travis Konecny. Like, what is up with this dude? I only knew about this guy as a first-time head coach, and the only thing I take away from this series, Scott, is this dude just complains about everything, it seems like. I can't remember a hockey coach being this much of a whiner.
Well, I will say with regards, Josh, to what happened with Tippett earlier in the series, the fact that Mantha got a couple of big right uppercuts in on Tippett and busted his nose a little bit there, and then got a 10-minute misconduct for it. There was no penalty on the play. It was just a 10-minute misconduct. You can see Rick Tocchet going like, what the bleep's going on?
Right.
You know, and he was going through the motions. Like, he got a couple of uppercuts to his face, and all he gets is a 10-minute misconduct for it, nothing more than that. Anyway, look, I think it's all part of the lobbying that goes on, within games themselves and in the off days between games that you get to the stage of the contests that we're watching. And, again, he won't be the last guy to come across like that in Dan Muse. And we'll wait and see. Everybody's looking for that next call, right? It doesn't matter what the sport is. You're always working for the next call. The call that was just made that didn't go your way, well, that's now in the rear view. But what you're doing is trying to plant a seed for a little bit later on in the game, or in this case in the particular series, where maybe you get the benefit of the doubt. And look, I mean, they're down 0-3 right now, so you're doing anything you can if you're Dan Muse to maybe get the odd call that goes your way. Now, can the Pittsburgh Penguins get their power play going? They got a couple of goals earlier, of course, in the series on their power play, but that power play has been much maligned as well. Flyers fans know all about that. But the reality is I think it's just all part of the process here during the playoffs, and we'll wait and see. Like we say, he's done a great job all in all, truth be told, this season, Dan Muse, because you're right, Josh, before the season began, when he got hired as the Pittsburgh Penguins head coach, a lot of people were running to Wikipedia, right? A lot of people were running to HockeyDB.com to find out what the history was of Dan Muse.
Right.
Turns out he's had success with the USA hockey program and got this opportunity with Pittsburgh. He's done a fabulous job to have them finish second in the Metropolitan Division, but right now, so far in the series, clearly the second-best team on the ice.
Scott, obviously everyone in Philadelphia, all their eyes have been on Porter Martone. But from a league-wide perspective, is everybody else starting to be amazed by what they're seeing from this rookie?
Yeah, I think so. Look, I mean, as highly drafted as he was and how coveted he was, I guess we can't be surprised. The output that he's had, though, with Rick Tocchet really basically dropping him into a full role of responsibility has been impressive to watch, because we know how it works, guys. Sometimes you throw a teenager into the NHL, or a guy that's relatively young and experienced and wet behind the ears. You throw him into the NHL, and coaches ostensibly just want to say, hey, get out there, maybe play some third, fourth line duty. Hey, we'll give you 9 or 10 minutes tonight. Let's see what you can do, kid. That's not been the case with Rick. As you guys have seen from the get-go, Porter Martone has been dropped into a real big offensive role, full of responsibility. I think in a lot of ways, guys, Rick sees a little bit of himself in Porter Martone. Now, Martone is never going to be considered at the end of his career as tough as Rick Tocchet was. It was a different time. It was a different era back then, and the game has changed markedly, no question. But what Porter Martone is a guy who's got some skill sets, big-bodied guy who took advantage of his 1 year at East Lansing playing for Michigan State, and he was able to get bigger and stronger and more physical. And because of that, guys, he's not looked out of place in this series at all. He appears ready for prime time, and he might be the poster boy, as I said, for a guy that maybe comes as a teenager, plays in the Canadian Hockey League. In his case, he was playing in the Ontario Hockey League for a couple of years, got drafted, went down to play for Sparty, and has come out the other side looking like a full-time NHL top six forward. So he has been impressive. Am I surprised he's doing what he's doing? Yeah, only because it sometimes takes some time for a kid like that to kind of find his way and tread water for a bit before he can fully swim in the deep end. But to Martone's credit, boy, we've seen it, with what he does individually and what he's done to increase the Flyers' offensive output since he joined the team, 12 or 13 games ago. It has made a world of difference to Philadelphia from an offensive standpoint.
Scott, you mentioned about Rick Tocchet and the job that he's done. What is the perspective on the job that he's done? Because when he first got hired, there were critics of him, like, here go the Flyers again, hiring another former Flyer, right? And then back in January, there were people in our area, Scott, that were like, I don't know if this Rick Tocchet thing's going to work. Is he going to even last the season? And now he's on the verge taking a team that nobody expected to be in this position to the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I got the sense, Josh, that a lot of the negativity, if there was any at all, coming against Rick was probably with the Michkov situation, right? I think Flyers fans see Michkov and they expect the world of this kid, and he's still just, 21 years of age, so there's still time for him to go from a 20 to a 30 to a 40-goal scorer, that sort of thing, too. Again, this offseason's going to be big for him. We know about coming into camp out of shape and how he was pushing the ball uphill from the get-go, it seemed like, too. So maybe some questions about the handling of Michkov through the coaching staff's eyes maybe earlier in the season, but maybe Rick in the end was right based based upon what we've seen or not seen from Michkov so far and the inconsistencies that he still continues to bring. That being said, I think with the job that he did, and I referenced earlier being 9 points out 60 or 62 games into the campaign, and then having the team go on to finish third in the Metro, I think Rick Tockett's got to be a nominee. He's got to be a candidate for the Jack Adams Award as Coach of the Year. I think he's done that great a job with Philadelphia. And I was saying, too, going back to it a couple of months ago, you would have said to yourselves, okay, with the job that Rick's done, with all due respect to this Flyers roster, it's not quite where it's going to be when some of these young players like Martone and Michkov take that next step up the ladder. You look at the job he's done, it's not a dynamic roster, certainly not in terms of Philadelphia terms and some of the great star teams that we've seen from years gone by. He's gotten the most out of this roster. We talked about Vladar asserting himself as a clear-cut number one goaltender now and finding a home in Philadelphia. We talk about the defensive structure of this team and with what they play with. And I think that that's a credit to the head coach. When you can talk about, the sum of the parts, being secondary to what the team collectively can bring forth, I think you're pointing to a coach that's got a great system in place. The players clearly have bought in. I think Rick obviously commands respect when he enters the room as a former player and being as great as he was for so many years and having a couple of stops along the way, too. So I can't say enough ultimately about the job that Rick's done, and I think in the end he should be at least a nominee for the Jack Adams Award.
Scott, looking at the entire Eastern Conference side of the bracket, what's the one series that has been really intriguing to you and just how it's been playing out so far?
Well, I think Anaheim's got to be a bit of a surprise out west, just because they're a relatively young team. They were going against an Edmonton team and still are, of course, up 2-1 in that series, that's had these runs the last couple of years. And they still have Connor McDavid, who has not looked like Connor McDavid so far in this series, and that's got to be a credit to what Joel Quenneville and his team have done defensively against McDavid. Now, is McDavid banged up, playing with something, probably hurt a little bit? Likely, but that's never going to come to the surface, certainly during the course of a series. So I think in the first round, maybe that's a mild surprise. I had Anaheim losing in 5 games to Edmonton. I thought it would be a gentleman's sweep, and Anaheim would be there just, to gain the experience and to maybe take off next season. But, boy, they've been impressive. The one thing I got to say, guys, when I look at these playoff series here in the opening round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, that stands out to me is that youth is served. And what do I mean by that? Well, you've got a young, speedy Buffalo team that's up on the Boston Bruins. You've got Montreal as one of the youngest teams in the league. They were in the playoffs last season to get a taste of it. Now they're up 2-1 in their series with the Tampa Bay Lightning. You can go on and on down the list. Obviously, Philly is one of the younger teams. They've got an older Pittsburgh Penguins team that they're beating up right now to a tune of a 3-0 series lead. And then I think you factor in, like what I said earlier, the Ducks are a young team there for the first time, and they're maybe about ready to take down an Oilers team that's full of pedigree and reputation. And last but certainly not least, with what we saw last night out there at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, Utah's a young team. They're a fast team. They're a skilled team. Vegas right now, look, they've been in it to win it since day one, right? They're a veteran-laden team as well that just looks like they're about a half step behind and have been outplayed by the Utah Mammoth too. So I think the kids are all right. There's no doubt about that. The youth has been served, and the younger you are and the faster you are, and we've seen it with the Flyers so far, I think that served those teams well.
With that being said, Scott, who is the team? Because obviously, maybe coming into the postseason, we had one perspective, but now that we're in the middle of the first round, as series starting to come to an end, who is the team in the Eastern Conference that you're maybe leaning toward as, hey, maybe I didn't see them as the team to come out of the East previously, but now that I've seen these series, I think that's the team that's going to maybe roll out of the Eastern Conference?
Well, I was out with a buddy last night. We were having some drinks, and I said to him, hey, Buffalo-Philadelphia sounds like a pretty good Eastern Conference final, wouldn't it? That'd be like turning back the clock a couple of decades if we could see the Sabres and the Flyers go at it in the ECF. So we'll wait and see. Maybe Buffalo's got that staying power. I just think it's great that markets like Buffalo and Philadelphia and even Anaheim, if you want to take it out west a bit further, like we say, teams that haven't had as much playoff success or even appearances here the last couple of years are all of a sudden stepping up and getting their opportunities out there for these great fan bases to really jump on board this train. So it's great to see them have success. We'll see if Buffalo can hang on. We'll see if the Flyers can close it out against the Pens as early as tonight. But I think it's refreshing to see some of these new kids on the block, so to speak, start to show up and once again exert themselves as one of the top teams in the NHL.
Not to get overly nostalgic, but if we get a Buffalo Flyers series in this postseason, I need Barnaby to come out and drop the ceremonial first puck, for in Buffalo, and then we can get LeClaire to do it in Philadelphia.
He just Barney loved playing against the Flyers. He loved playing in Philadelphia. It really got him going. And, yeah, those games were outstanding. Look, I got a quick story for you, Josh. Back in the day, we drove down a few hours away from Buffalo as we are, drove down to see a Saturday afternoon game, and it was way back on Fox when they had the glow-in-the-dark pucks and such, and you had Lindros and the Legion of Doom going against the Buffalo Sabres, led by all those tough guys, and Barnaby and Ray and Brad May and guys like that. There was nothing like it back then in the mid to late 1990s, like Buffalo and Philadelphia presented, because the Flyers, led by the Legion of Doom, as we know, were such a physical force and so good back then, and Buffalo had some good teams, and Hasek was starting to turn the corner and such, and really exert himself as arguably the top goaltender on the planet, too. So those Flyers-Sabres battles were great, and like we say, who knows, maybe coming up in a couple of weeks, we'll get a chance to experience it once again.
Definitely very interesting. Of course, for all your NHL coverage, you want to jump on the SiriusXM NHL radio. Check out Scott Laughlin and the Morning Skate crew over there. Scott, always appreciate you jumping on the insights.
Anytime, guys. Thanks for having me as always.
Josh Hennig along with Alex Berardis here on Hanging with Hennig, 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank. Yes, Flyers hockey tonight on 97.3 ESPN. Alex, just a quick follow-up to what Scott was saying. For you, obviously you're a little younger than me. So for you, what do you want to see from the Flyers moving forward after this round?
Like, are you talking about playoff-wise or bigger picture kind of thing?
Playoff-wise.
I mean, just getting to the second round is one in itself. But I actually don't think we would be just rolled over by the Carolina Hurricanes. We have a goalie now in Dan Vladar who can steal you a series. And like I said, Carolina, you play there, you just have to survive that first 10 minutes of pressure to start the game. And then you settle in, get your shifts, take a few hits, get a few shots, and then you get to play your game. The way they're playing right now, Vladar, I think game 2, Vladar stole that game. Everybody was saying, the Flyers are coming out hot. Flyers didn't play great that game, especially that second period. Vladar stood on his head, got the shutout. We got some goals to win the game. I think that the Flyers can do that exact same thing when we get to the second round to face the Hurricanes. I really do.
We'll have more Flyers talk coming up here on the show. Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. But coming up next is the Ivy Rehab Injury Report with over 18 locations around South Jersey. Best in class physical therapy. They were my physical therapy rehab specialists, and they should be yours as well. We're going to talk about the plethora of Phillies injuries coming up with Dr. Tom Adderley. Don't forget, Flyers say 8 o'clock. Or if you want to watch Zach Wheeler make his debut today, I don't care about the Phillies too much when it comes to, Wheeler's going to be Wheeler. We hope for the best, right? Won't have his catcher, JT Realmuto. We'll talk about that on the Ivy Rehab Injury Report. Whether you want to watch the Flyers, the Phillies, Sixers tomorrow night, or any of the football draft today, you want to go visit my friends at Hang Time Bar and Grill on the White Horse Pike in Galloway. Spring into fun with friends and family and enjoy your next night out at Hang Time Bar and Grill, located on the White Horse Pike in Galloway. With live music every Tuesday night, DJ Bingo every Wednesday night, and 30 TVs to watch your favorite teams play, good times and great food is waiting for you at Hang Time Bar and Grill. Check out Facebook and Instagram to learn more about Hang Time Bar and Grill's weekly specials and one of the best happy hours in South Jersey. On the White Horse Pike in Galloway at Hang Time Bar and Grill.
Making your home look brand new is what Work of Art Construction can do for you. Ready to remodel your bathroom or have a kitchen makeover? Art Masker has 40 years of experience in construction and knows how to make your home look like a work of art. Want to install a new back deck or invest in a new front door? Just call Art Masker at 609-788-4271 to learn more. Visit Work of Art Construction on Instagram to see how Work of Art Construction can make your home look brand new. Beautify your home with Work of Art. Call him at 609-788-4271 and let them make your home truly a work of art.
It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down. At RK Kia of Vineland, all you need is $29. Even if your credit is so bad, your Nana won't loan you money. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. Save thousands with even pricing on new Kia Sportage, Sorrentos, K5s, the entire Kia lineup. Even the all-new 2027 Telluride. Plus acres of Kia certified pre-owned. And get 0% financing at RK Kia. Plus, you get RK coverage, no charge, ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. Save thousands and make no payments for 90 days. It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down for limited time only at RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com. To qualified buyers plus tax entitled. For details, call 856-641-1111 or MyRKKia.com.
Bobby Lee is coming to Ovation Hall at Ocean Casino Resort on Saturday, May 2nd. And yes, he promises to behave, at least a little. See the comedy star from Mad TV, The Bad Friends, and Tiger Belly podcasts. Tickets are now on sale at theoceanac.com. That's theoceanac.com. Experience the show everyone is talking about. Don't miss Bobby Lee on May 2nd at Ocean Casino Resort. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Since 1949, local homeowners and businesses have trusted Jenkins Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Jenkins understands that these are challenging times, which is why they are offering financing on all plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and maintenance services. Take advantage of rebates from your local utility company and manufacturers. Qualifications may apply. If you're a new or existing customer in need of service, call Jenkins today. Some qualifications apply. Visit JenkinsandSons.com.
Jenkins Plumbing and Heating.
When it comes to injuries, you can't afford to get it wrong. Insurance companies, they delay, deny, and pay as little as possible. Who's on your side? The law offices of Craig A. Altman. Car accidents, slip and falls, serious workplace injuries. They build cases to put real pressure on the other side. And you pay nothing unless they win. Don't guess, don't wing it. Call 856-327-8899 or visit CraigAltmanLaw.com. Local office in Vineland, backed by a Philly firm that knows how to win.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I want my picks back. I want David Putnam.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
All my picks back, and I want David Putnam just because I feel like it.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah, I am. Haven't I proved that already?
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN, and it's time for the Ivy Rehab Injury Report. With over 18 locations around South Jersey, best in class outpatient physical therapy. They're the ones who worked on me, and that's why they are a part of us here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Joining me today, Dr. Tom Adderley, as the Phillies have not one but two major players out with injuries. Tom, how you doing today?
Good, Josh. How are you?
I'm doing good. I appreciate you jumping on. I mean, I'm doing better than the Phillies are. That's for sure. And I want to start with probably the biggest injury of all with you, because this JT Realmuto situation is probably an injury a lot of people can identify with, right? You know, he has what they're calling lower back spasms, and it's been a progressive situation. He tweaks his back one day. They take him out of the game. He leaves the next game. Lower back soreness. And now it's on the injured list, what they're calling lower back spasms. So talk to the audience about how do these situations, like with JT Realmuto, I just tweaked my back, then evolve into a bigger issue?
Yeah, totally. And, the short answer to it is low back issues are complicated, right? So let's talk a little bit about spasm, right? When things happen at our spine, we sometimes overcomplicate things because we freak out because it's near our spinal cord. But essentially, the way you can think of a spasm is just an involuntary muscle contraction. So it's like a cramp. The problem and what makes this so difficult to treat is it's multifactorial. You could have dehydration, electrolyte imbalances causing these things. You could have inadequate warm-ups, et cetera. It could also be a protective response if you injure another tissue, right? So if somebody injures their disc, sometimes the back will spasm to kind of protect you from re-injuring that disc or that joint capsule. So I think that's sort of the issue. It's also potentially the result of muscle imbalances. The low back has a bunch of different muscles. Some are very long and powerful, what we call the erector spinae. Essentially, those are those big, thick ropes on either side of your back that are responsible for your powerful movements. But they can sometimes become overworked and underpaid if those smaller, more elegant muscles that live underneath that kind of thread like a little bit of like French braiding up your spine. And not to get too dorky, guys, but like there's the semispinalis, the multifidi, the rotatories. But these smaller muscles, if they're not working hard enough, boy, those big muscles are being asked to do too much, and sometimes they can lock up. But with JT, I mean, let's be clear. Clearly, good warm-up. He's a finely tuned athlete. We also have to think about athletic injuries in terms of the rules of twos, right? Is there too much load? Are we asking our spine to do too much too soon? Does the load we're putting through it exceed our capacity? Are we asking to do too much? Is it a volume issue, right? So maybe it's like, well, I'm pretty strong, but I don't know how much, how many reps I can get out of this particular exercise or activity. So in that way, the volume might exceed capacity. It's also an issue with frequency. Baseball, we see a lot of this. It's a long season. They play lots of games throughout the week. So it's not particularly any one thing, but maybe the muscles just aren't up to handling that kind of frequency, that kind of, multi-game weeks, multi-week seasons. And then other issues, it's sometimes a velocity issue, right? And we'll have that patient's like, I go to the gym, I can deadlift a bunch of weight, I feel really good, but somebody dropped a piece of paper and I went real quick to pick it up and my back spasmed on me. What's that? Well, sometimes there's a velocity issue. So that's a really long-winded way of saying it's complicated.
So let's say someone comes to Ivy Rehab with what JT Ramuto is over. Like, hey, I tweaked my back. I thought I was fine. Went out and did something. Then it was starting to bother me. Then a couple of days later, now it's spasming. So what is the procedure when it comes to treating a patient like that at Ivy Rehab?
Absolutely. I mean, I would say if we're thinking in terms of like checkpoints that are certainly important for patients or potential patients to be thinking about, first thing we want to do is get them out of pain. If you're having pain, it's really hard to ask people to do fill in the blank activity if there's pain involved. So once we can get you through a relative reduction in your pain, we want to check range of motion. So range of motion is flexibility, your ability to move from point A to point B for a joint of the muscle, or when it's the back, a group of joints. Actively, which is asking them to do it, and passively, which is like, can I move you through? Once you kind of have the ability to move through your full range of motion without pain, then we can start asking questions about strength. Are you able to contract the muscles in a way that doesn't hurt and allows you to move more effectively through that range of motion that hopefully we've earned in physical therapy? Then we can start layering in, like, can you do the thing you need to do at the speed you're accustomed to doing it? So there is a degree of velocity training. And then I would say the final piece, and certainly something that we pride ourselves in, is making sure that they have the understanding of the volume of the load, right? So, I won't say load management, but that idea that essentially you can handle what you need to do for the entire duration of the thing. When we talk baseball, when we talk pretty much any professional sports, I mean, that's the huge issue, right? Is the volume of what these folks are being asked to do.
I think the important thing to point out is you mentioned the range of motion. I think for me, that was a big thing for my rehab, which was, even though I was still in some pain and discomfort, the fact that I regained the range of motion in my neck, that was a huge part of my recovery, because they were able to point out, hey, you may still be in pain and discomfort, but the fact that the range of motion is back, that's a huge checkpoint, right? To show that you're making the recovery. So I think that's something people need to understand, that is sometimes the recovery might not be going like in the most literal sense, but as I've been told before, you can spell this more than I can, Tom, recovery is not linear.
No.
It's not a straight line. You're not going. It's more like up to like a landing on the stairs, right? You go up one flight, then a landing, then another flight, then a landing, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the human experience is a boom bust cycle, right? I don't think there's anything we could talk about that doesn't have some degree of ups and downs. I think good rehab, and certainly what we try to do with Ivy and the training room, the company I work at, I really feel like it's more about minimizing the boom bust, and instead of this real rocky improvement, it's a little bit more of a steady linear improvement. And for you from the patient side, Josh, I think that's super important, right? If you're not able to experience the improvements, if we're not able to demonstrate the improvements, that's a real hard sell because it's a lengthy rehab at times.
Yeah, and I'm for an impatient person like myself. Sometimes it kind of your mind starts overthinking it. Sometimes. Talking with Tom Adderley, Ivy Rehab with over 80 locations around South Jersey. Best in class physical therapy. They're my physical therapists, and they should be yours. Here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. The other Phillies injury I want to hit on with you, Tom, is Jhoan Duran. Now, this one is interesting to me because, he didn't have like an intense moment, right? He didn't have like a collision like Joel Embiid had with his oblique. Duran said he had discomfort when he was preparing to come into a game. Now, this is the same oblique that he had a grade 2 years ago. Now, Duran told the media this is very mild compared to the previous, but anytime I see a guy have an injury that he previously had before, the red flags go up, right? It's like, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You're a baseball player for him as a pitcher, but even for batters, I mean, it's a very rotational based sport. So maybe talking a little bit about the oblique injury that they have him listed as, the anatomy. And once again, I'll try to not be a complete dork here, but you have two forms of obliques. You have the external obliques, which run from like kind of above and out to below and in. So if you're wearing a hoodie like me, you kind of put your hands in your hoodie. That's the direction of the external obliques. And then the left external oblique would actually be responsible for right rotation, interestingly enough. And then the internal obliques run at the exact opposite, right? So a little bit of a crisscross. They run from above and in to below and out. So the left internal oblique would be pain with left rotation. What makes the oblique such an interesting muscle is you're using it all the time. It acts as a stabilizer. It's also a powerful rotator, and it's also a decelerator to rotation to the opposite side. So if we think about, kind of a rehab approach and why these injuries can be very concerning and certainly recurrent, it's not enough to, and if we go back to our checkpoints from our first conversation, you have to have full range of motion, right? That muscle shouldn't hurt when I stretch it, and it certainly shouldn't hurt when it contracts, when you twist with it. Strength is interesting with the obliques. We kind of need it to be all aspects of, and I use a car metaphor when we talk muscles, right? I need suspension. I need it to be a stabilizer. I need it to help hold the trunk steady. So for a pitcher, essentially, I need that trunk stable during that energy transfer from the windup into the stride. That's critical. So if that's where he's experiencing that symptom, it kind of gets me in the ballpark of what part of the muscle contraction he might be having issues with. Isotonically, that idea of like being able to overcome an external load or powerfully accelerate. So that's that gas pedal of the car. It's really important that we make sure that the core and the obliques are working to accelerate from that late cocking into arm acceleration phase of pitching. And then finally, and this is maybe an often overlooked spot in terms of the pitching cycle and the obliques, we need it to be an eccentric decelerator. We need the gas brake, the brakes on the car. Don't ever ask me to work on your car, by the way. That's literally all I know about cars. But, essentially, as soon as that ball leaves your hand, everything after that is slowing the body down from that. And the obliques are a big part of that. So, when we're working with any sort of rotational athlete, we kind of want to understand their sport, their particular movement that bothers them, and where in that phase of movement they're having their symptoms so we can better identify this. So in that regards, I mean, you theoretically could have an oblique injury 2 years apart, but if they're in different phases of the pitching cycle, it might be a very different rehab approach.
So let's say someone has an injury, whether it's an oblique strain or anytime someone comes in, right, I say, hey, I've been diagnosed with an oblique strain, but I've also had a similar injury to this years prior. Does the approach to the rehabilitation a little different knowing that they have had a previous injury to this body part?
I mean, absolutely. I will tell you, and this is not the best, sign off for rehab in general. The biggest injury risk predictor sometimes is a history of having the same injury previously. So there's always that sort of looming, like, hey, is this something that's likely to recur? So we deal with that all the time. From my perspective, the early stage rehab probably doesn't look that different because I want to know, hey, how do we get you out of pain? How do we get you strong? Where I really think the difference sits in are those late stages, right? The return to sport, making sure everything's looking and feeling the way we want, and especially that volume, right? So we talk about workload. We have what we call an acute versus chronic workload ratio. So what are you doing this week, and how does that compare to kind of the last month? If I spike you too far too fast, I'm likely to get you a little bit more irritated, more sore, kind of give you a setback. But on the same token, if I'm underdosing you, I'm not going to get you back to the volume that your sport, your season demands. So that's really where we really do a deep dive, especially if it's an athlete and we have an opportunity to kind of look at training, because maybe the rehab after that first injury, maybe that's the issue, is we just went too far too fast. And that gives me even more of a reason to kind of get a little bit of a longer, wider runway for their return to sport in terms of volume.
Before we let you go, I want to know from you, when you look at these athletes, obviously these athletes, they're high performing. They got all kinds of resources available to them, and the average person does it. So explain to someone who, hey, maybe they're a weekend warrior, or you mentioned maybe they just go to the gym a few days a week, but they want to have a healthy lifestyle. Where is kind of like that Mason-Dixon line between saying, hey, the regular person, this is their recovery versus the athlete? Because sometimes we look at people, like, for example, going with Joel Embiid and the Sixers, right, where it's like, hey, my so-and-so, they had an appendectomy and they were back at work a few days later. So obviously, it's the idea that, someone like me, I have a neck issue, right? I had a neck issue. I went in, but my recovery is going to be different than somebody who basically 24/7 go through rehab, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're all kind of athletes in our own sense. When we talk about some of our work-related injuries, I mean, these are industrial athletes. Their sport is their job. So, once again, to your point, if you're more of like a desk-based sedentary person, your ability to return back to your job might not necessarily be the lagging indicator, right? It might be the thing that we need to do is focus, like, well, what things do you want to do? You mentioned weekend warriors. One of the nice things is for a lot of the people that are like, hey, I just want to be able to play a round of golf and go to CrossFit on a Saturday and Sunday, but I can't do that. It's really more about programming. Well, what can we do Monday through Friday to prepare you and kind of give you the capacity to tolerate that load on the weekend? So it's not about taking things away. In some cases, it's either about spreading that load more evenly through the week, or maybe even giving them permission to train a little bit more comprehensively. So, in that way, it's kind of sharing the good news. Like, we're not going to take stuff away from you. We're just going to give you a little bit more to do to prepare you for the things that you love.
He's Dr. Tom Adderley, of course, Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy with over 18 locations around South Jersey. Best-in-class physical therapy. They're my go-to for rehabilitation physical therapy, and they should be yours as well. Tom, appreciate you jumping on today.
Thanks, Josh. Take care of that neck.
That's what I'm trying to do, hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. And by the way, Tom mentions about taking care of the neck. Part of the rehabilitation process with Ivy Rehab is not just what you do at Ivy, it's the quote-unquote homework that you're given when you're not there, doing those exercises continuously when you're not there. It's all part of the overall process with Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy. And of course, they bring you the injury report every Saturday here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, also being brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook, the only sportsbook app with Caesars rewards. That means every bet you place on every sport does more for you. More perks, more ways to win, more ways to level up your experience like only Caesars Sportsbook can offer. You can earn endless rewards because earning toward perks on every wager gets you hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Get started now. Download the app and use my promo code RADIODYW. Then place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 10 bets. 10 chances to boost your play just for stepping onto the field with Caesars Sportsbook. Open to new users in New Jersey are 21 or older. Max bet $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings $2,500 per bet. Profit boost tokens expire 14 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We'll check back in on the text board on the other side. Josh Hennig, Alex Berardis, hanging with you and hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM. Streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios. Like, subscribe, just follow Josh Hennig on YouTube and X.
It's Flyers Penguin Game 4 on 97.3 ESPN. The Flyers take on the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight. Listen as Tim Saunders and Todd Fedoruk call all the Flyers playoff action.
Martone spins into the right wing circle, looks at the net with a shot, he scores! Oh, Porter Martone!
It's Flyers Pens Game 4 tonight. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. on South Jersey's home for Flyers playoff hockey. 97.3 ESPN. And listen live on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Tired of cooking and planning all of your meals each and every day? You need Prevail Nutrition to simplify your life. For almost a decade, Prevail Nutrition is a local meal prep company located in South Jersey that allows customers to design their own meal plan. Or you can choose from a wide variety of chef-designed meals on their weekly changing Prevail Selects menu. You can order online for pickup or get free delivery on orders of over $50. Prevail Nutrition delivers to Atlantic and Cumberland counties along with Ocean City. Or you can pick up your meals every Monday and Friday. Learn more about how Prevail Nutrition can simplify your life. Visit their website at prevailnutrition.club. Check out Prevail Nutrition on Facebook and Instagram. Prevail Nutrition is my go-to choice for prepared meals and food. Order online, like me, at prevailnutrition.club.
For 23 years, we've helped athletes at all levels at Clemic Performance Method, from youth to pros, increase maximum velocity, acceleration, vertical leaps, and general physical preparedness. We offer youth, high school, and pro college classes. Our proven results have earned national recognition from NFL coaches, sponsors, and a feature on ESPN Radio's Sports Science segment. You can contact me directly at 609-742-6190, or as always, visit us on our website, ClemicPerformanceMethod.com.
Need a new car and have no idea? It's got to be a matte black Kia.
26 matte black Kia Sportage, $139 per month. All new 27 matte black Kia Telluride, $339 per month. Plus, get up to $3,000 over KBB fair market value for your trade.
Matte black Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
It's got to be a matte black Kia.
24-month leases, $59.99 to sign. Call 888-506-4132 for details. Offers don't combine, expires month end.
Right now at the Home Depot, shop Spring Black Friday savings and get up to 40% off, plus up to $500 off select appliances from top brands like Samsung. Get a fridge with zero clearance hinges, so the doors open fully even in tighter spaces in your kitchen. And laundry that saves you time, like an all-in-one washer dryer that can run a full load in just 68 minutes. Shop Spring Black Friday savings, plus get free delivery on appliance purchases of $998 or more at the Home Depot. Offer valid April 9th through April 29th, U.S. only. See store online for details.
You matter, and so does your well-being. If you're facing tough moments, struggling with anxiety, depression, thoughts of suicide, or substance use, help is here anytime you need it. Call, text, or chat 988 for free confidential support. New Jersey's 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is here 24/7 for you or someone you love, with trained counselors who listen and care without judgment. You matter. Remember New Jersey's 988. A message from the New Jersey Department of Human Services.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee.
Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most.
That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber. Connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29, $29, $29 down. At RK Kia of Vineland, all you need is $29. Even if your credit is so bad, your Nana won't loan you money. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. Save thousands with even pricing on new Kia Sportage, Sorrentos, K5s, the entire Kia lineup. Even the all-new 2027 Telluride. Plus acres of Kia certified pre-owned. And get 0% financing at RK Kia. Plus, you get RK coverage, no charge, ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. Save thousands and make no payments for 90 days. It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down for a limited time only at RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com. To qualified buyers plus tax entitled. For details, call 856-641-1111 or MyRKKia.com.
Hanging out at the Piccadilly. No work tomorrow. Everyone's happy. Beers keep coming. Tails piled high with friends and family. Spirits to the sky.
For good times in the Pines, make the trip to the Piccadilly Inn's Pick Patio. Watch the game and order up their world-famous wings, an ice-cold beer, or freshly made cocktail on a sunny afternoon. Or by the fire under starry skies. Skip the lane chains, get off the beaten path, and take the trip to the Pick. Follow them on Facebook for live music and specials, or order a carryout at piccadilly.com.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Hang with Hennig back here on 97.3 ESPN. Alex Berardis joining me in the 97.3 ESPN studios. Hey, don't forget, we got not one, but two great opportunities to hang with Hennig coming up with me 12 to 3 p.m. on 97.3 ESPN. So next Saturday, we will be live at Gusto Brewing. We will be out there. Smoker Adele will be slinging great food. Rob does an amazing job, by the way, with Smoker Adele with their great food. Next Saturday, we'll be out there 12 to 3 p.m. down at Gusto Brewing in North Cape May. They'll be dropping not one, but two new brews down there. Now, Alex, you're not even going to be in the area. You're going to be totally out of town. So you won't be able to enjoy this with the rest of us.
It's kind of making me think, do I got to go? I could go with you and hang out, or do I go on this little trip I got to go on? It's really enticing. I don't know.
I mean, I know it's a tough decision for you, but we will be down there at Gusto Brewing. Of course, 97.3 ESPN will be hanging out with you. By the way, it's also free comic book day, so for the geeks like myself, you can come down and enjoy that. They got two brews dropping. They're both themed, by the way. One is actually going to be called Doom Sauce. They're calling it Latvian Style Pale Ale. Again, for us geeks out there. And then the latest Star Wars brew is going to be called Out There in a Galaxy Far, Far Away. That is going to be their latest Imperial Stout. So come on down, hang with Hennig. We'll be having some stuff to give away as well. Gusto Brewing next Saturday. That's May 2nd. And then the Saturday of May 23rd, Hang with Hennig will be hanging with you at Boulevard Super Liquors on Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora. Myself and my Carl will be down there. We'll be giving out tons of prizes. You got to come on down, hang out with us, put your name in the giveaway raffle. And, of course, for all of your drink needs. Listen, the Flyers tonight, or maybe you need a drink because you know the Phillies are going to lose again, right? Hey, Boulevard Super Liquors is where you want to go for all of your party needs, your celebration, your misery, whatever you got, you can pick it up over at Boulevard Liquors. The best variety in all of South Jersey will be there Saturday, May 23rd. That's just some of the events that are coming up for Hanging with Hennig. We'll be out and about. As we're getting to summertime, Alex, I'm going to be out and about more, which means your lacrosse season needs to end already, okay?
May's kind of now. We literally this whole month. This is the only Saturday I think we've had this entire month where we didn't have a game. May's looks a whole lot more open. I'll be back here hanging with you, hanging with everybody listening on 97.3 ESPN. Yeah, the weather's turning. As you can hear in my voice, the weather changes has been doing a number on me.
Doing a number on your voice?
It's been doing a number on me.
It's been doing a number on my allergies.
I think that has something to do with it as well.
So really quick, so like for allergies, where does it hit you first? Like for me, it hits my eyes first.
My throat.
It's your throat?
And then I just get so congested, like you can hear it here. My problem is too. I'm a Dayquil, NyQuil kind of guy. I don't really take anything that fights the virus.
You just treat the symptoms.
Yeah, that's a red flag.
So you got to start treating the actual issue.
Yeah, no. Look, right hand up, accountability. No one to blame but myself. But I feel good for those few hours when I take it.
Let's get to the text board at 609-403-0973. Joey D. in Ventnor chimes in and says, Howie is now in the GOAT conversation for GMs. 3 Super Bowls in 9 years, 2 wins, gets the best value during the draft, always makes the right acquisitions during the season. Let him cook. Also, Flyers, keep playing, boys. Tough break late for the Sixers and fire all the Phillies, says Joey D. in Ventnor. So he covered all the bases there. Listen, Howie is a future Hall of Famer. I think we all can agree on that, right? Howie has done, because here's the thing. Howie has not just done a good job, but he's done a good job of learning from his mistakes. He's done a great job of saying, hey, we didn't do the evaluation right with this guy. How can we improve later? For years, the criticism of the Eagles and Howie Roseman was, well, they can only draft guys in the trenches. Well, now they've shown they can draft basically any position and get a quality player. I think that's where Howie has elevated. It's not just the championships. It's the fact that he has grown and evolved and become better at his job every single year. And that look at the Jonathan Grenard contract. I keep going back to that. He was given a $100 million contract extension, but only $50 million of that $100 million is guaranteed. That's a clear sign that Howie won the war. Listen, you may be like, wow, you gave up picks. You have no picks in the 4th round of the draft this year. You had to give up a pick next year's draft. Hey, you walked out of it with a bona fide pass rusher at basically half the cost of what's his name, Jalen Phillips. So you get a guy who's arguably just as good at half the cost, and you walk out of the draft addressing wide receiver, tight end, and offensive line depth so far. So Joey D is right. Howie deserves a lot of credit. Now, to the Flyers thing, I'll say this to you, Alex. He says, let him cook with Howie. Well, how about let the Flyers cook? Because I think the Flyers have done a great job at this whole area is flyered up, Alex, in a way that I haven't seen in 15, 16 years. And I don't even know if 2010 was like this. I don't know if 2010 had this type of energy that this team does.
Well, I first want to start with the Howie thing. Yeah, I don't think Howie needed this weekend to prove the greatness that he has. Now, when you say the Eagles only draft the trenches, I am curious to see if in these day 3 picks, they go out and get a kicker. Because, as funny or as little as that sounds, Jake Elliott kind of seemed to be a problem last year, and we didn't really address that need.
True.
I'd be interested in getting a kicker in one of these later rounds. Now with the Flyers, if we don't go as far as the Stanley Cup or the Eastern Conference Finals, I think this year's a success in its own. But also, I think now free agents now look at Philly and say, that's somewhere I want to play. Kind of like what happened with the Phillies. Bryce Harper. He wanted to play in Philadelphia. He knew the environment that Philly could be. The Bedlam at the Bank, Red October, that whole thing. That brought in some free agents who might not have really looked at Philly before all that happened. Now, these free agents are seeing Philly's a great sports town. Yeah, we know that. But hockey was always kind of the second fiddle to everything else. Now, like you said, it's just taken over the South Jersey area, the Philadelphia area like nothing we've ever seen before. And the game a few nights ago, Game 3, that place looked crazier than I've ever seen. I've been to a few Flyers playoff games. I was actually at the last home playoff game in 2018 against the Pittsburgh Penguins, that Game 6 loss.
Okay.
Didn't look anything like it looked like a few nights ago. And I expect tonight to be the exact same thing. So I think in the bigger picture, how ruckus this barn is, it's going to play into the Flyers' favor because these guys are going to say, that's somewhere I want to play.
Yeah, I think that, like the Eagles, the Flyers are starting to show you that this is I don't want to call it a destination, but it's somewhere that you're right. You want to play, you want to be a part of where things are happening, right? And I think that people have criticized Mishkov, right? He needs a bigger role. Why has he done more in this series? I think the growth of the Flyers not needing Mishkov to be a star is actually the win, because now you've had other dudes who can step up, not named Mishkov or Tippett or Porter Martone and Tyson Forrester. If they keep doing what they're doing, you feel like there's less of a need for Konechny and Mishkov to be the primary scorers for this team. He's Alex Berardis. I'm Josh Hennig, hanging with Hennig, broadcasting live from the 97.3 ESPN studios here on 97.3 ESPN. Hour 3 coming up. More your text on the other side. 609-403-0973.
The 2026 NFL Draft on ESPN Radio, live from the North Shore of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
I have a unique blend of athleticism and size at this position.
All the teams are sitting there just absolutely licking their chops.
He doesn't have the big-time arm strength. He's good, not elite.
The 2026 NFL Draft.
What will the Eagles do in rounds 4 through 7? Tune in to find out. It's the 2026 NFL Draft. Later today on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 3 p.m.
Listen up. The soap you shower with? It's you probably haven't even questioned what bar of soap you lather up with. Let's face it, most guys don't. But now you can upgrade your shower game with Dr. Squatch Natural Soap. I'm talking about natural, nourishing, cold-pressed, hand-cut soap for men. Men who use their hands. Men who build things. Men who catch foul balls without spilling their beer. You won't just smell good either. Your skin will be healthier and more nourished. We make our soaps with natural ingredients from the earth. Ingredients like oils, plants, goat's milk, Greek yogurt, oatmeal, shea butter, and citrus. Turn your shower game up to 11. Get ready to step out of the shower feeling alive.
Hey, this is Josh Hennig. Go to my social media and click my exclusive Dr. Squatch link for your chance to save $10 off your next order of great natural soap, deodorant, and much more. Only with Dr. Squatch.
The comedy sensation Matt Rife is bringing his Stay Golden World Tour to Ovation Hall at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City, performing not one, but 2 shows on Friday, July 24th. Tickets are on sale right now at theoceanac.com. Make your summer golden with Matt Rife at Ocean Casino Resort.
Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Need a new car and have no idea? It's got to be a Matt Blatt Kia.
26 Matt Blatt Kia Sportage, $139 per month. All new 27 Matt Blatt Kia Telluride, $339 per month. Plus, get up to $3,000 over KBB fair market value for your trade.
Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
It's got to be a Matt Blatt Kia.
24-month leases, $59.99 due at signing. Call 888-506-4132 for details. Offers don't combine, expires month end.
Veterans and active duty service members. When your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Catch all the sports action this April at Vintner Social. With 20 big screen TVs, you won't miss a second of our Philly baseball, basketball, and hockey teams, championship golf action, and pro football draft. The deck is open, the drafts are ice cold, and the game day food and wing specials are ready for you. And when the game's on break, jump into the arcade and create your own action. Catch it all at Vintner Social, Vintner Avenue in Vintner. Check out their Facebook page for the latest specials and events.
South Jersey's official play-by-play home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
At 0 point would I ever consider not being a fan of the team.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Finally! This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity. Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Hour 3 of Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN being brought to you by my friends over at the law offices of Craig A. Altman. Listen, the Flyers had a game plan going into this series with the Penguins. They're up 3-0 for a reason. Well, if you get injured at work, you get into a car accident, slip and fall, you got to have a game plan to deal with the insurance companies. They delay, they deny, they pay as little as possible. So you got to make sure you have someone on your side who knows how to win. And that's the law offices of Craig A. Altman. Tough cases need tough lawyers. So when you're injured, don't wing it. You need someone who's going to know how to go in and fight for you. You want to be on the winning team, and that's why you want to call 856-327-8899. That's 856-327-8899. Or visit CraigAltmanLaw.com with offices in Vineland. Yes, right here in South Jersey on Delsea Drive in Vineland. They're backed by a Philly law firm that knows how to win. The law offices of Craig A. Altman, proud sponsors of Philadelphia sports coverage right here on 97.3 ESPN. He's Alex Berardis. I'm Josh Hennig, hanging with Hennig, broadcasting live from the 97.3 ESPN studios. We'll get back to text board in just a bit at 609-403-0973. Johnny G, your text and more we'll get to, but kind of want to reset the stage here. So, Flyers tonight, Dan Vladar will be between the pipes. We got that confirmed by the Flyers a little bit earlier today. So, could have been Sam Ersson, but the Flyers, it feels like to me, Alex, the Flyers are basically saying, we're just going to ride what got us here, and then we'll evaluate in the second round if we need Ersson. I know throughout the year they've kind of been alternating, but I think for me, Vladar is clearly the better goaltender this year. So you want to go with your best guy to finish the series, and I would assume that if he's cleared to play, that he should be good to go, and that you're going to get the Dan Vladar you've seen all series.
Yeah. Right after he got that weird injury in Game 3, a few minutes later, he kind of let up a muffin shot.
Yeah.
Right under that arm. So that was a little concerning to see. But, yeah, I think once you get to the playoffs, it doesn't matter how – like we saw with Boston a few years ago where they had the Ullmark and Swayman 1-2 combo.
Yeah.
Once you get to these playoffs, you kind of got to ride a guy. And I think Vladar, he's shown all year long that he is capable of being that number one goalie that you can just rely upon to win you some games. Like I said earlier, though, if there was going to be a game where you would like to start Sam Ersson just to give Vladar more rest and a day to recover, it probably would be this game. But I don't hate playing Vladar because we've been on the other side of a 3-0 comeback.
Yeah.
In 2010 with the Boston Bruins. So, to me, I'm not satisfied until this series is done and over with. I'm always in the belief that series is alive until the series is over.
And the other problem is that, you heard Scott Laughlin say an hour ago when he joined us here from SiriusXM NHL Radio, Scott Laughlin from the Morning Skate. He talked about how the Penguins are the older team, right? A lot of teams you're seeing success with in these playoffs are younger teams. Maybe having 2 extra days off is going to help the Penguins. Maybe giving those guys some extra time off makes them more dangerous tonight, right? So it makes it even more important that you got to come into this game with the attitude of, Mortal Kombat, finish him. You want to finish the job tonight. Don't let the Penguins have any hope of trying to get a win.
Because after this game, we're going right back to Pittsburgh. And if you give them just a little bit of hope, that place is going to be going crazy. They might feed off that energy. And like how we brought up how the youth kind of helped us a little bit.
Yeah.
They haven't faced any adversity yet in these playoffs. So who knows? Maybe we go down tonight, go back to Pittsburgh. The younger guys, they start gripping their sticks a little bit tighter, not making the easy, free-flowing passes that they were making when they're not really thinking. They start thinking about it.
Yep.
They turn the puck over. Who knows? Bad penalties. Then it just starts to snowball from there. If you just go in, play your game, win the game tonight, you don't got to worry about none of that.
The other big news of the day, the Philadelphia Eagles just just throwing haymakers at the league. You know, in a league where people always want to try to find something wrong with you, I think it's something we got to give them credit where credit is due. Now, they don't pick again until the 5th round of the NFL draft. But still, you know, they are a team that smartly gave up some of their picks. I believe they pick in 30 picks from now. So I don't know if we'll still be on the radio by the time that pick comes in. Maybe we will here on 97.3 ESPN. But yesterday was a huge day for the Eagles. You got your veteran pass rusher that you needed, Jonathan Grenard. And you got your tight end of the future, Eli Stowers. You got some more depth on the offensive line, Markel Bell. And we didn't talk about this much earlier, but I want to bring it up here. Part of the reason why you need Jonathan Grenard is because the Philadelphia Eagles went in the last season thinking they were good enough at the edge rushing position. They thought that Nolan Smith was going to take a step forward last year. Well, they didn't. You know who took a step forward last year? Alex Hunt. Hunt was the one who stepped up and became the bona fide guy last year. Well, Nolan Smith and the rando veterans they brought in, like Okongwu and other guys like him, they weren't good enough. Remember, the day after they beat the Cowboys last year, they signed Zadarius Smith. Zadarius Smith then retired a month and a half later, and then Brandon Graham comes out of retirement to help get you through the rest of the year. So for me, I'm kind of looking around like, well, you got to do something. Well, then they traded for Jalen Phillips. And the defense gave up almost a full touchdown less last year with Jalen Phillips on the field versus before they got him. So obviously it made a huge difference on the scoreboard for the Eagles, giving up almost a full 6 points less with Jalen Phillips and without him. Then the Panthers came along and they overpaid him. So you had to do something because you cannot trust Nolan Smith to be that guy moving forward. I hate to put it out there, but I'm going to put it out there. Nolan Smith has been a disappointment. This guy was a guy picked late in the first round a couple years ago, and he looked like he could have been a stud during that run to the Super Bowl a couple years ago, right? A couple years ago, he had that big playoff run, although he set the Eagles' postseason record for most sacks in a postseason run. But ever since he re-injured his own triceps, he hasn't been the same guy. And I don't know if that's because he's still recovering from the injury. I don't know if he's kind of lost his, his 1-2. But you got to get somebody else. And so Grenard became a necessity to bring in here. And what did Howie do? He basically got him at almost half the price that the Panthers paid for Jalen Phillips. And you could argue that Grenard might be a better run defender than even Phillips was. So I think Howie's done an amazing, amazing job. And Alex, for me, I look at the Eagles as, I know they're not done. They got more picks today. Howie always says that building the roster is a 365 job. I remember years ago when they traded for C.J. Gardner-Johnson on August 30th. Howie has traded for guys in August and September. He doesn't care. He'll improve the team any time of year. So I'm not going to act like that there's only one way for the Eagles to build. So I am taking what they have done thus far with a grain of salt, understanding that Howie can do more later.
My only concern with Grenard is he's only played every game of the year once in his career. Mm-hmm. Last year, he only played 12 games. But as you said, it was a position of need. They got out. They seem to have found their guy. Let's roll with it. It's definitely an upgrade from anything that we had before that.
Yes, that is true.
Now, I kind of just want to throw something out here just to get conversation sparked.
Roll it.
Yeah. So I brought up earlier that maybe the Eagles weren't even looking at Lemon initially, but then when all those offensive linemen went right before they were going, they were saying, you know what? Damn good football player. Let's take him. What if, because everybody's speculating now, A.J. Brown, they're giving his plane ticket to him right now because after that draft pick.
Well, it's also after Adam Schefter has been pounding the table saying the trade's going to happen after June 1st. I mean, that kind of helps too.
Yeah. But what if, Howie has no trade in place, he just got a really good football player as a wide receiver, and now you have Smitty AJ and Mekhi Lemon? Just maybe. Or are you in the boat, Josh? I'll ask you this: that who is his name? Caleb Lamu, that the Patriots drafted.
Oh, the offensive lineman.
Yes. Are you in that boat to where that's just going to be what the trade's going to be for AJ Brown after the June 1st date?
Oh, I don't know if you're getting Lamu in that trade. I don't know what you're getting.
Because there was a lot of speculation and rumors saying that.
Yeah,
that
well,
could
the
be
problem
the
is
move.
that there's some very weird legalities when it comes. Like the NFL is investigating the Steelers right now because of that whole fiasco with Lemon. You're not allowed to call a player unless you're on the clock.
Yeah, because it was 2 picks in front of it, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of speculation right now that the Steelers might have broken the rules. I don't think the Eagles want to be in a position like the Steelers are where there's anything, right? I don't think anything's been agreed upon. I think the Eagles and the Patriots kind of have a, look, we'll reconvene when we get close to the June 1st. Because I don't think either side wants to get in trouble. And considering the Patriots have their own trouble with Mike Vrabel and his off-the-field philanderings or whatever you want to call it, I mean, by the way, I'll touch on that thought a little bit later because I got something very specific to say about Mike Vrabel, Diana Rossini thing a little bit later this hour. But for me, I don't think the Patriots want any more cross-eye looks their way. I think that both sides are like, we'll figure out what the trade compensation is when we get to June 1st. I understand what you're saying, that, did they draft that guy with the idea of trading him to Philadelphia? I don't think they did. I think the Patriots realized they just need to improve their offensive line because their offensive line almost got their quarterback murdered in the Super Bowl last year. I think that's what that was about.
I have a question. This is just because you know probably more about this than I do, most definitely, actually. So when I was watching the draft, I was thinking to myself, okay, we know Mendoza's going 1.
Right.
No doubt. But does the team after get the phone call saying, okay, they are going with this guy before the pick is announced? Because once it says the pick is in on our screen, the clock starts for that next team.
The way it's supposed to work is when the Raiders time is up, the next team gets told, hey, their pick is in, you're on the clock. And by the way, the pick is. That's why, for example, if you ever notice, certain reporters have the information before it gets announced on the stage because that information gets disseminated to the next team. Well, there's no reason why somebody in the room for that next team isn't texting fill-in-the-blank reporter who's reporting ahead of time, so-and-so just picked that person. We're on the clock now.
Yeah, it's got to be once it says the pick is in, they show like you can see on the background.
Because the other thing is, and this is a little bit, pulling back the curtain on the way media works. The media has to know who the pick is because they got to put the graphic on the television.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're watching on television, right, whether it's ESPN, NFL Network, whoever, or you're watching a live stream like I was on with Thursday with Andy McNamara for Lucky Rebel, the announcement on that platform is probably a minute or two behind the actual knowledge of the pick. Because one, the team that makes the pick has got to tell the league. Then the team calls the player, right? Also, the network needs to know who's the pick. Got to put the graphic up. Got to put the information on there. Also, who else needs to know? The person on the production staff telling the people at the table, here's the pick coming up. Make sure you guys are ready with your notes. So there's a lot of moving parts that go into it. So that's why fill in the blank. And I don't want to name anybody because I don't want to make it like I'm casting aspersions. Some people say I hate when I get spoiled with information online. I don't care. Listen, I'm the guy who will see a movie spoiler and I'll still go watch the movie anyway. I don't care. Spoilers, like Mike Gill always criticizes me because I'm the guy who will watch a game later at night. Like, I didn't watch the Phillies game Friday Night Live because, one, I don't have Apple TV. I ain't paying for that you-know-what. You and I talked about this a month ago about how, there's only so much money to go around. I'm not paying for Apple TV Plus. I'm not. So, you know what I did? I watched the game on my MLB TV subscription late last night.
See, I don't know if I can do that. But the NFL actually, this draft, implemented another wrinkle into this whole, media production thing.
I love this. Yes, the shorter minutes.
That's not what I was going to say.
Oh, okay. I love the fact they shortened the time between the picks.
That's fantastic. I saw this thing, the 2006 draft was over 6 hours long. This draft was 2 hours and 58 minutes, the first round.
Love it.
But I think I'm a card collecting guy. It's a hobby that I have.
Okay.
I'm pretty impressed by it, but I don't know how I feel about it. Topps, have you seen after every first round pick, except for Mansour Delane, I think was the only guy that didn't get to sign his Topps rookie card right on stage.
See, I didn't see that. I've been seeing the guys getting the hat and they're going to the hallway and they're tapping the logo of the team that drafted them.
So after that, after they do the picture with Goodell,
okay.
They show, which feed did you watch?
I've been watching ESPN.
Okay, because that was the one I watched too. So they would just show the guy walk over to the side of the stage. They'd have their Topps little center there.
Okay.
The picture of them holding their jersey is the card that they're signing.
Wow.
Quite literally in the same TV, they didn't cut away from holding it with Goodell to not even 2 minutes later, signing the card, first. I think it was my first NFL auto. I am very impressed with Topps on the speed and how they got the picture onto the card, on the card, onto the table, ready for these guys to sign it.
So I'm going to assume, without knowing more information, that there's probably a template on the computer, and the Topps people are probably told when the pick happens who the pick's going to be. So they customize all the elements aside from the picture. So when the picture is taken, all they got to do is just drag and drop and then hit print.
I am still just very impressed with Topps as...
Well, I think you'd be impressed with their prep time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of preparation that goes into making a template, right? If you make a template, for example, I have a platform that I use that I won't name because they don't pay me to name them, but I have a platform that I use, and they basically make it, frankly, very easy for me to just go on there and just be like, all right, I'm going to put this in, going to put that in, we're good to go. Boom, done.
Because I believe the interview was Laura Rutledge. Was that who was interviewing each of the players after they got drafted?
On ESPN, yeah.
So they would finish up with Laura, they would take 2 steps to the right, and then they would sign their autograph. So It was that quick. I was very blown away by it.
Listen, I don't blame you for being blown away. It sounds like they basically just did a great job. Did Topps at being prepared, to me at least. That's how I look at it. So I say kudos to them for being more than prepared for the moment. That makes sense?
Yeah, and I mentioned the Mansour Delane was the only guy that didn't get that I saw, was because, like you said, they kind of know who's going where. They have to be known beforehand. They have to be told beforehand. He seemed to be the only reach, really, of that early first round. And the Chiefs moved up to get him. There was some kind of controversial talk of where they took him. So I think that was the interesting guy that didn't get to do it.
I don't agree with that. I don't think Delane was a reach because, number one, he was the number 1 corner in this draft on most people's draft boards. Number 2, if you go off of most people's rankings, he was a top 10 prospect on almost everyone's board. So who cares if it's 6 versus 8 or 6 versus 9 or wherever the Chiefs were? It was 9, I believe. They were at before,
yes.
Right? So, why does it matter that he was picked 3 spots ahead of where they could have gotten him if he was already considered a top 10 pick? That's where I feel like we live in a world, Alex, where it's like, I'm going to hand you a bag of money and you're going to complain it's too heavy. Or I'm going to hand you a bag of money and you're going to be mad that it's all 20s instead of hundreds. I feel like people are nitpicking things that don't matter. I think the bigger issue is what happened with the Chiefs' other pick. Did you see this story? Peter Woods?
What happened there?
So, Peter Woods got drafted, and the first thing he did with his draft pick was he gifted his mom and dad brand new luxury sports cars. Now, I don't remember I think it was like Maserati or something like that. Something like very, very high end.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of people online who are saying that apparently his draft party was sponsored by this car dealership, and part of the deal with him promoting them was to like get his mom and dad cars. But there's a lot of people who are like, dude, you buy your mom a house. You don't buy her a car. And it's like there's a lot of people who are looking at it like, is this dude going to be like a showy, look at me and my luxury lifestyle kind of player instead of being like a football player?
To me, honestly, let him do that. If he's balling out on the field, let him do what he wants to do.
He's not even on the field.
But yeah, but I'm saying at that point. But did you see, I think it was pick 57 was the Mr. Hines pick?
Yes. Hines ketchup for life.
Yep. I think that's fantastic.
That's great branding by Hines.
They got the jacket.
Yes, the red jacket. That was so cool. I want the jacket. I didn't care about the ketchup. I'm not a big ketchup guy.
Hot take.
I'm more of a mustard guy.
I could go both on a burger. It was Logan Jones, lineman from Iowa, going to the Chicago Bears.
I guarantee he's going to use that ketchup.
That's a smart pick. Even if I'm the Bears and I don't need a big boy, I'm drafting a big boy to get the ketchup. Like, that's just smart PR play right there.
It's a great job by Hines. It's a great job by Hines. I give him credit for it.
Now, where's that going to snowball to, though? Starts with Hines with the 57th overall pick.
See, the problem is that how many companies have a number attributed to them? Like, for example, it's not like, let's use Dell computers, right? It's not like Dell's got a number that's like attributed to them. They could be like, with pick number, you get a new laptop. Like, you can't do that, right?
They got to figure out a way, these companies.
Yeah, but it's got to be something like natural. There's got to be a natural. By the way, Hines is also from Pittsburgh. It's part of the reason why it happened as well. So, like, Hines is literally in the city of Pittsburgh. It's from that city. So there's that too.
Acrisure Stadium or whatever it's called now.
Well, yeah, it used to be Heinz Field. Now it's some dumb name that nobody cares about. Yeah. I've always said that if you're a company that is niche, don't put your name on a stadium because everyone's just going to hate you. Like, unless Acrisure is going to start paying people's tickets to go to the game, nobody's going to be like, I love Acrisure, or whatever the name is. I don't know what the name is. I might not be pronouncing it right.
That's what I thought it was.
We don't even know the name.
Yeah, I couldn't even
just
tell
like,
you.
This stupid thing.
Because it got changed from something that was iconic, Heinz Field.
Yeah,
like,
Heinz
everybody
Field.
knew that.
They used the Heinz ketchup bottle like in the corner of the stadium, remember?
Yeah, everybody knew that.
It was cool. They got a dumb name that nobody even can pronounce. Idiots. He's Alex Berardis. I'm Josh Hennig. We're not idiots. We're hanging with you here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. Don't forget, we will be live next Saturday. Gusto Brewing Company down in North Cape May. Come on down, hang out. We'll have some prizes to give away because when we were at Gusto down in North Cape May, they are dropping not one but two new brews. The brand new, out there in a galaxy far, far away, Imperial Coffee Stout, as well as the brand new Doom Sauce Laverian style Double India Pale Ale. Also, they'll have the great food from Smoker to Dell. Rob does an amazing job making foods. They'll be slinging food all day long. And, of course, come on down. Hang with Hennig. Get some prizes. We'll be doing some giveaways to next week, Saturday, May 2nd, Hanging with Hennig on the road. You know, while Billy's up there in Camden County got you covered for the Down in Derby Festival, I'll be down in North Cape May, hanging with the Cape May County people, hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. We are broadcasting live in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio.
It's Flyers Penguin Game 4 on 97.3 ESPN. The Flyers take on the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight. Listen as Tim Saunders and Todd Fedoruk call all the Flyers playoff action.
Martone spins into the right wing circle, looks at the net with a shot, he scores! Oh, Porter Martone!
It's Flyers Pens Game 4 tonight. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. on South Jersey's home for Flyers playoff hockey. 97.3 ESPN. And listen live on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Tired of cooking and planning all of your meals each and every day? You need Prevail Nutrition to simplify your life. For almost a decade, Prevail Nutrition is a local meal prep company located in South Jersey that allows customers to design their own meal plan. Or you can choose from a wide variety of chef-designed meals on their weekly changing Prevail Selects menu. You can order online for pickup or get free delivery on orders of over $50. Prevail Nutrition delivers to Atlantic and Cumberland counties along with Ocean City. Or you can pick up your meals every Monday and Friday. Learn more about how Prevail Nutrition can simplify your life. Visit their website at prevailnutrition.club. Check out Prevail Nutrition on Facebook and Instagram. Prevail Nutrition is my go-to choice for prepared meals and foods. Order online, like me, at prevailnutrition.club.
Making your home look brand new is what Work of Art Construction can do for you. Ready to remodel your bathroom or have a kitchen makeover? Art Masker has 40 years of experience in construction and knows how to make your home look like a work of art. Want to install a new back deck or invest in a new front door? Just call Art Masker at 609-788-4271 to learn more. Visit Work of Art Construction on Instagram to see how Work of Art Construction can make your home look brand new. Beautify your home with Work of Art. Call him at 609-788-4271 and let them make your home truly a work of art.
Is your trading stopping you from shopping? It's time to drop into Matt Black Nissan.
We need your trade-in today, and we're willing to overpay. At Matt Black Nissan and at Matt Black Affinity.
AJ the trade-in man will pay you up to $4,000 over a Kelly Blue Book fair trade value for any trade-in in any condition, even if it's not paid off.
New 26 Matt Black Nissan Rogue, just $269 per month.
New 26 Matt Black Nissan Kicks, just $289 a month.
Or finance select new Nissan or Infinity at 0% APR for 60 months.
Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. Our lenders can get almost anyone approved.
Come see us today at Matt Black Nissan and at Matt Black Infinity.
And the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township. It's time to drop into Matt Black Nissan.
With approved credit, go to mattblacknissan.com for details or 877-289-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes. $1,667 per thousand financed for 60 months at 0 APR through NMAC. Negative trade equity refinanced. Subject to lender approval. Offers don't combine. Expires month there.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house. It's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications that top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
At the Home Depot, we have all your appliance answers. And with Spring Black Friday savings, you can get up to 40% off, plus free delivery on select brands like GE Profile. Simplify your day and get the GE Profile all-in-one washer dryer with a quick 90 minutes wash and dry time. Now available in multiple color options. And a fridge with hands-free autofill that fills your cup perfectly while you prep for your day. Shop Spring Black Friday savings and get free delivery on appliance purchases of $998 or more right now at the Home Depot. Offer valid April 9th through April 29th. U.S. only. See store online for details.
A small business affirmation from Progressive. Plumbers, today will be a good day. You will be profitable. Your clients will be nice. No one will stand over you and tell you how to fix the thing they actually hired you to fix. You will also feel at peace after switching to Progressive, America's #1 commercial auto insurer. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, #1 commercial auto insurer from the NAIC's 2024 National Premium Data.
It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down. At RK Kia of Vineland. All you need is $29. Even if your credit is so bad, your Nana won't loan you money. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. Save thousands with even pricing on new Kia Sportage, Sorrentos, K5s, the entire Kia lineup. Even the all-new 2027 Telluride. Plus, acres of Kia certified pre-owned. And get 0% financing at RK Kia. Plus, you get RK coverage, no charge, ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. Save thousands and make no payments for 90 days. It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down for a limited time only at RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com. To qualified buyers plus tax entitled. For details, call 856-641-1111 or myrkkia.com.
Hanging out at the Piccadilly, nowhere to
For good times in the Pines, make the trip to the Piccalilli Inn's Pick Patio. Watch the game and order up their world-famous wings, an ice cold beer, or freshly made cocktail on a sunny afternoon. Or by the fire under starry skies. Skip the lane chains, get off the beaten path, and take the trip to the Pick. Follow them on Facebook for live music and specials, or order a carryout at piccalilli.com.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I stood right there not too long ago, and I told the entire world, I said, call me what you want. Yeah.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
And there's nothing you can do about it, and that's not an insult. That is just a fact of life. Yeah.
Streaming live on YouTube and the X platform.
Josh today back here and Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, being brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook, the only sportsbook app with Caesars rewards. That means every bet you place on every sport does more for you. Baseball, basketball, hockey, all the games you love all season long. One app, endless rewards, because you can earn perks with every wager, like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Get started right now by downloading the Caesars Sportsbook app. Use my promo code RADIODYW. Then place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 10 bets. 10 chances to boost your play just for stepping on the field with Caesars. Open to new users in New Jersey are 21 or older. Max bet at $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings $2,500 per bet. Profit boost tokens expire 14 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Alex is very excited about that new liner I made that came out with.
Yeah. That came out of nowhere. I was like, I know that voice.
Well, it actually, I was, sometimes when you're, spending a lot of time by yourself, you have more time to think about stuff. And I was kind of listening to LA Knight a couple of weeks ago, kind of get the promo with the Usos when they had the six way. Yeah. And I was thinking, you know what? That's a good liner. So I went and found some old LA Knight footage, and here we go. LA Knight's not part of the show. Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN.
We got the draft on one of the TVs over here.
Yeah.
One of the guys, Zakee Wheatley of Penn State safety, just went. He was actually a lab partner of one of my roommates.
There you go.
I don't think he showed up very much to the class, so I've heard. But shout out to Zakee. He's going to Carolina.
Hey, man. Good for him.
He got us a few interceptions at Happy Valley.
Hey, listen, someone had to play.
Way to kick me while I'm down.
Did you see the video of James Franklin driving to and from people's houses?
I'll give, as much as I talk trash on James Franklin, he could recruit, and he would always be there for his guys.
That video is wild, where the two guys live an hour away from each other. So he knew the one guy was going to be drafted earlier, so he went to his house first, and then jumped right back in the car, zipping over to the other guy's house.
Yeah, he cares about his players. I will always say that.
Good for him. Good for those guys. It must be a good feeling when you get drafted and your coach is there being like, I drove an hour to get here.
Yeah, knowing what he did. It wasn't just, hey, I'm going to be here. All right, cool. You got drafted. Got to go to your boy's house.
Right.
One of your teammates, your brother. He's getting drafted too. I got to make it over there.
Yeah, it's a good job by Franklin.
Yeah.
I like that. Let's get to the text board. We got a lot of texts coming in. I don't want to forget about you guys at 609-403-0973 because we care about the people on this show. You guys text in. We always appreciate you tuning in to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Jeff chimes in and says, I feel like all week I've been gaslighted by Pens fans and national media all week. Are we watching the same game? When did Penn fans become so entitled? I remember when the league made 66 buy the team and gift them Crosby so they wouldn't leave Pittsburgh. So about a fraudulent fan base. So, first of all, I will preface this by saying most Flyer fans feel like the Pens are one of their two biggest rivals. That's a fair statement, right?
Yes.
Okay, so obviously Jeff is a diehard Flyers fan to be saying this. So for those who don't remember the history, there's always been this speculation that the league did Mario Lemieux a solid by getting the Pens that draft pick so they could draft Sidney Crosby. Because they were trying to keep the team from leaving Pittsburgh. There's a lot of speculation that the Penguins were going to move and rebrand themselves. This was around the time before the Minnesota Wild came along, that the idea was that the Penguins could leave Pittsburgh and be the new Minnesota North Stars team because the North Stars moved to Dallas to become the Dallas Stars. And so there was this whole speculation about that, and Mario Lemieux came in, helped bring the team back to life, resurrect the financials of the team. I don't want to say the Pens are a fraudulent fan base, though. Those fans have always been there for that team. It's just there was always a financial issue with the way the team was run. It's kind of like if you ever watched, what's the name of the documentary on Netflix about the Expos? You ever see that one?
I haven't seen it, no, but I know what you're talking about.
So in the documentary, they talk about how the guy who owned the team and running the team, he loved the Expos, he loved the city, but he was a bad businessman, right? So it's like one of those deals where it's like, I can't be hypercritical of the Pens when the fans show up, but the people who run the team are doing a bad job of running the team. You know what I mean? Like, you can't blame the fan base for the ownership being bad financial managers.
Yeah, and all they have is that and the Steelers because Pirates
suck.
Yeah, Pirates are irrelevant. So fans, they really only have Steelers and the Penguins. If you want to throw in Pitt, you can throw in their football team as well.
Yeah, well, if you go to WV, you hate Pitt anyway.
Yeah,
so, Mike Gill.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I will say this. Jeff does make an interesting point about the gaslighting by the media. I do feel like most of the week, until the Flyers won the third game, most of the media treated the Flyers like, oh, that's cute, that's nice over there. A lot of the media kind of viewed the Flyers as like a cute little story. They didn't take it serious. I feel like after game 3, now the media is like, oh, wait, this is legitimate. Like, this isn't just like a Cinderella in the NCAA tournament reaching the Sweet 16. They're going to get blasted. Like, the Penguins are going to lose this series. We better get on board. So that is where I do think Jeff does have a point.
I can't believe the amount of Twitter talk from Penguins fans saying that it's Pens versus the refs. If anything, the referees have been very kind to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, if you want to say the whole Rust connecting thing, should we have gotten a power play out of that? Probably not. I'm not going to say no, but probably not.
I think that's the refs were trying to send a message. I think the refs were trying to send a message that, look, we know that you guys have been a little extra physical with the Flyers in this series. Stop crossing lines. We're done with you crossing lines. I think that's what that was about. Because, and this is where I said to Scott Laughlin earlier about Dan Muse. The Penguin fan is being fueled by Dan Muse, the crybaby. Okay? If their head coach wasn't such a sorry excuse for a human being and got to every press conference and cried a river about the refs. And by the way, why is the NHL the only sport that doesn't fine people for complaining about the refs?
Yeah, I mean,
every time a baseball manager or a football coach or a basketball coach says anything with the refs, fine. It's like, does Dan Muse have impunity to complain about the refs until like the end of days?
It's because of Sidney Crosby. Because he has Crosby there, and Crosby can say whatever he wants.
Yeah, but you can still find the head coach.
But it's tough when the league. Bettman's been
LeBron James complains about refs and he gets fined.
Bettman's been at I think every game in the series. I think so. Bettman, I wouldn't be surprised if Bettman's making some calls saying, "Hey, make sure Sid's taken care of."
If he is doing that, then that's some chicanery that needs to be exposed.
I think I've just always been used to just Crosby getting his way and getting the calls his way. And now that it's not happening, the fans are now starting to say Pens versus refs.
I think the problem is also that we forget that in all sports, stars do get some calls. The problem is that when a star doesn't get a call and then the coach complains about it, it gives the fans fuel to complain as well.
That's very true. When Sidney Crosby went down because of the stick, I'm fine with him going down because, look, if you get hit in the face not expecting it, yeah, you can drop. It's just when you're laying there like a lifeless body for, 30 seconds after the fact.
Right.
It's like, dude.
That's where the embellishment comes
Come on. And then, he's in the penalty box smiling at one of the fans when she gave him the look like, dude, come on now. Like,
when Hathaway was yelling at him in the box next to him.
Yeah. And then Konechny was skating by, chirping him. Like, I actually think this is the most hell that Crosby's been in
a while.
I would say in his career in a playoff series.
I don't know about in his career, but at least in a while.
Yeah, because he had the shift with that or Giroux just.
Because there was that one series against the Caps years ago where he was getting like the snot beat out of him, and like every game, like he was getting like blasted. Like he would be like, "Is anyone gonna call anything?" And like the refs were just like, "We're just gonna keep skating."
Yeah, like I have Sidney Crosby on my Mount Rushmore of hockey, so it's like. You don't if you would just man up some of these times, you can make my argument for that
easier,
so much easier.
Who's your Mount Rushmore of hockey? I got to hear this.
Wayne or Hal Sid.
Interesting list. I agree with Wayne Gretzky and Gordie Howe.
Not Bobby Orr.
Bobby Orr and Crosby are. I feel like it's. So I'm conflicted because I've always looked at a player like Ovechkin, and I think Ovechkin did more with less.
So you're with Billy Schwein on this one, actually. The Schweiner has Ovechkin over.
That's surprising considering he's Russian. Billy hates Russians.
Yeah, well, I think it just might be his hatred for Crosby that's.
See, I don't hate Crosby. I feel like whenever you have an athlete who does great things, but they do it with a great team, it's like I don't always know how to handle that because hockey is such a unique sport where like we've seen guys on great teams never win championships, right? Hockey is one of those sports, whereas like Wayne Gretzky, if he didn't go to the Oilers, would he have won all those cups?
He still would have had a great career.
But would he won like 5-6 cups?
Probably not.
Probably not. Because remember when he went to the Kings, never won a championship. Went to the Blues, never won a championship. Went to the Rangers after they won a championship. So to me, I'm not saying Gretzky is not a great player, but I'm saying with Sidney, I just don't know if he's on the same level. So like for me, I do lean to Ovechkin a little more than Crosby. The Bobby Orr thing, I get what you're saying. He's arguably the greatest defenseman to ever live. But what do we do with some of the other great players, like, the Maurice Richards? What do we do with some of the other guys, like those great players on the Islander teams back in the day? Do we look at Messier as a lesser player than Bobby Orr? I'm just asking questions. I'm not saying your list is wrong. I'm just saying I'm kind of like questioning like what we do. I think nobody disagrees about Gretzky and Howe. Like those are like easy. But to me, the other two is where the debate is.
Guy I want to put on that list, but I just can't because he just didn't have the longevity, was Mario. I think if Mario didn't have the injuries,
that's where my bias is. Even though he was on the Penguins, I thought Mario Lemieux was like one of the most amazing players I ever saw.
Yeah, if Mario just had played longer and didn't have the injury history that he had, he'd be with Gretzky like 1A, 1B greatest of all time.
A couple more texts to get to before the break. Johnny G in Ocean City. Johnny G chimes in at 609-403-0977. Hey, Josh. Love the show. Love the Eagles draft. Love the Flyers. Howie for president. Go Birds. He says the Phillies will win tonight. How about that? A little positivity from Johnny G about the Phils.
Hoping we get the wheels bumped tonight.
I think that's what everybody's hoping for.
Didn't he get knocked around in AA or AAA a few weeks
ago?
But
he was also experimenting with his pitches. So it's hard to treat AAA and AA like it's like full indictment.
True.
To me, the bigger thing was his velocity increased. His first start, the velocity wasn't there, but the velocity went up about 4 or 5 miles per hour from the first start to the fourth start.
We need you, Wheels. But even so, Wheels can deal tonight.
And they still lose.
Bats don't do anything. So it's like...
Yeah. That's why I said this is a Phillies free zone unless the text board brings it up.
Yeah.
I do not have time. Bohm, Stott, all those guys. Everybody needs to cut your hair, be clean-shaven, have some team camaraderie.
Yankee it up.
And own it up to the fact that y'all have lost. 3-game losing streaks happen. Now we're in 9-10 game territory.
We're in 4 or 5 years ago Flyers territory where it seemed like once a year they were on a 10-game. One year they had 2 10-game losing streaks in 1 year.
Let's squeeze in Paul from Millville real quick. Says on the text board, he says, Josh, the decision to start Vladar just seems stupid to me. I know that we want to slam the door shut on the Pens, but being up 3-0 isn't really worth risking a chance of him getting knocked out for the rest of the postseason. I believe this team is good enough to sweep the Pens with Ayrton. This decision could cost you dearly if you are planning to make a run. Alex, your thoughts?
I think I already kind of alluded to this, but I think it's important to just get this win tonight because then Vladar can sit even longer and rest up even longer rather than you just give him the night off today. Ayrton's in. Somehow we lose, and then Vladar's got to just pick it right back up again. I do kind of like, let's just finish it off here tonight and then give him that 5 days or however long it's going to be until the second round.
So the theory I have heard is that if the Flyers win tonight, Game 1 will be on Wednesday.
Okay. Oh, that's actually not terrible. I thought it would have been longer than that. Huh.
I think it's Wednesday. Hold on. Hold that thought for a sec. Yeah, Wednesday. That's the last thing I saw.
That's a good enough break for a guy to, especially for a goalie we've weighed on heavily, to take some time, decompress, and get ready for Game 1.
He's Alex Berardis. I'm Josh Hennig, hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Coming up more, your texts at 609-403-0973. And don't forget, Hangtime Bar and Grill. My friends over there is the place to be with over 30 TVs to watch all the action. Flyers and Phillies tonight. Phillies and Sixers tomorrow. Catch all the games, all the action at my go-to spot. Hang with Hennig loves Hangtime Bar and Grill on the White Horse Pike in Galloway. Spring into fun with friends and family and enjoy your next night out at Hangtime Bar and Grill, located on the White Horse Pike in Galloway. With live music every Tuesday night, DJ bingo every Wednesday night, and 30 TVs to watch your favorite teams play, good times and great food is waiting for you at Hangtime Bar and Grill. Check out Facebook and Instagram to learn more about Hangtime Bar and Grill's weekly specials and one of the best happy hours in South Jersey. On the White Horse Pike in Galloway at Hangtime Bar and Grill.
For 23 years, we've helped athletes at all levels at Clemic Performance Method, from youth to pros, increase maximum velocity, acceleration, vertical leaps, and general physical preparedness. We offer youth, high school, and pro college classes. Our proven results have earned national recognition from NFL coaches, sponsors, and a feature on ESPN Radio's Sports Science segment. You can contact me directly at 609-742-6190, or as always, visit us on our website, clemicperformancemethod.com.
Is your trading stopping you from shopping? It's time to drop in some Matt Black Nissan.
We need your trade-in today, and we're willing to overpay.
At Matt Black Nissan and at Matt Black Affinity.
AJ the trade-in man will pay you up to $4,000 over a Kelly Blue Book fair trade value for any trade-in in any condition, even if it's not paid off.
Come see us today at Matt Black Nissan and at Matt Black Affinity.
And the Buck Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township.
It's time to drop in some Matt Black Nissan.
A small business affirmation from Progressive. Plumbers, today will be a good day. You will be profitable. Your clients will be nice. No one will stand over you and tell you how to fix the thing they actually hired you to fix. You will also feel at peace after switching to Progressive, America's #1 commercial auto insurer. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. #1 commercial auto insurer from the NAIC's 2024 National Premium Data.
Hey, it's Mike Gill for my friends at the Branches Outreach. The mission at the Branches Outreach is to provide food, clothing, personal care items, and compassionate support to individuals and families experiencing homelessness in Katy County. In the past year, the Branches Outreach has welcomed over 10,000 guests into their outreach center, served more than 12,000 warm meals for those in need. The magic, you didn't have enough food to eat or a place to sleep. That's why they can use your help. The Branches Outreach is privately funded through donations from good citizens like you. Your support is needed year-round. They also will accept donations of food, personal care items during the week from 9 a.m. to 1:30 at the Branches Outreach in Rio Grande. I'm urging you to give your support and donate today and help my friends at the Branches Outreach. Visit them online at thebranchesoutreach.org to learn more.
Right now at the Home Depot, shop Spring Black Friday savings and get up to 40% off, plus up to $500 off select appliances from top brands like Samsung. Get a fridge with 0 clearance hinges, so the doors open fully even in tighter spaces in your kitchen. And laundry that saves you time, like an all-in-one washer-dryer that can run a full load in just 68 minutes. Shop Spring Black Friday savings, plus get free delivery on appliance purchases of $998 or more at the Home Depot. Offer valid April 9th through April 29th. U.S. only. See store online for details.
It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down. At RK Kia of Vineland. All you need is $29. Even if your credit is so bad, your Nana won't loan you money. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. Save thousands with even pricing on new Kia Sportage, Sorrentos, K5s, the entire Kia lineup. Even the all-new 2027 Telluride. Plus acres of Kia certified pre-owned. And get 0% financing at RK Kia. Plus, you get RK coverage, no charge, ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. Save thousands and make no payments for 90 days. It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down for a limited time only at RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com. To qualified buyers plus tax entitled. For details, call 856-641-1111 or MyRKKia.com.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a cybersecurity engineer at a publicly traded company.
We've been hacked! They're through our firewall!
How is that even possible?
They got my password.
Please don't tell me your password was password.
It's actually password 1.
This is the job for sponsored jobs.
This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Catch all the sports action this April at Ventnor Social. With 20 big screen TVs, you won't miss a second of our Philly baseball, basketball, and hockey teams, championship golf action, and pro football draft. The deck is open, the drafts are ice cold, and the game day food and wing specials are ready for you. And when the game's on break, jump into the arcade and create your own action. Catch it all at Ventnor Social, Ventnor Avenue in Ventnor. Check out their Facebook page for the latest specials and events.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
People will come, Ray.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
People will most definitely come.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Wrapping up Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Alex Berardis joining me here in the studio. Let's squeeze in one more text before we get out of here. Texter says, Bobby Clark won 2 MVPs in the Bobby Orr era. Lemieux definitely has to be up there as well. Bobby was great on both ends. Listen, if you want to tell me that Clark should be on the Mount Rushmore, I'm not against it. He obviously is a Hockey Hall of Famer. He's a multiple-time MVP award winner. He was, yes, one of the more well-rounded hockey players of the 70s, entering the early 80s. My only problem is that are we letting our Flyers bias overlook somebody else? And you and I had a conversation off the air. You can't neglect the modern player when there's only 4 spots. Like, we're doing a top 10 list. It's probably a lot easier than just a big 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we also had the talk for goaltenders. Do they get their own list?
I say they get their own list.
Yeah, I agree with that. And especially with the goaltenders, I think there has to be some inclusivity of the modern day guys. Because whenever we do these like all-time lists, the modern guys I always think get the short end of the stick on it because everybody just has the nostalgia factor. But I don't know. I think that's why I put Sidney Crosby up there. I think there's got to be at least some guy who represents this day and age of hockey.
I think the way all these Mount Rushmores need to work in all sports, there's always like 2 people who are no doubters. There's got to be 1 spot for a modern and 1 spot like a swing vote. So that, to me, that's how all the Mount Rushmore should work. So
I agree with that.
All right, before we get out of here, I mentioned I would touch on the Diana. This is the most my entire feed almost every day is Diana Rossini, Mike Vrabel stuff. Like, it's getting out of hand. And I just wanted to say really quick, as someone who has worked in media, originally as a newspaper guy, then got in the media, now we're in the digital space streaming live on YouTube and X. I hate the way this Rossini-Vrabel thing has been portrayed. Am I the only person who thinks it's really suspect that somebody held on to the pictures of them for 6 years, and then all of a sudden the New York Post gets them? Someone held a picture of Rossini and Vrabel at a casino for 7 years, all of a sudden gives the TMZ. I'm not excusing two people who are married having an affair. You should never do that. Listen, the only time you should be doing anything with anyone is if you're either completely single or in a relationship, okay? There should be no, I got 2-3 girlfriend, boyfriends on the side, okay? I'm not one of those people. I'm not promoting, anything that is immoral, okay? But the whole thing screams there's something that we don't know. And I think Rossini is getting a bad rap in all this for this one reason. She has been under attack very consistently for years about her character and who she is, outside of just her pure reporting. And I think it's very convenient that everyone who's ever met her speaks very highly of her. It's only the people who have never met her who have a lot of criticism about her. And I don't think it's fair to criticize anyone unless you have more information. Can I be critical of their actions? Yes. Her having an on and off again affair with Mike Vrabel for potentially 8 years is nutty to me. The fact that she was out at a bar past midnight with him, like right around when she got married, is insane and ridiculous to me. But Vrabel's going to therapy for an affair? Nobody goes to therapy for an affair. I think Mike Vrabel might have been a serial affairer, and Diana was just part of the tree. I think that Diana got suckered into a situation, and she might not have known all the information. That's just my take. He's Alex Berardis. I'm Josh Hennig. This has been Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Thanks to Leigh Steinberg. Great conversation with him. Scott Laughlin for SiriusXM NHL Radio. Thanks to Alex for taking a break from his LAX season to join us with Mainland Regional. And thanks to all of you listening on 97.3 ESPN, watching on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig. Have a great weekend, everybody. Go Flyers!
Sunday morning in the locker room with Billy Schwein, producer Alex Berardis, and Aaron Ewing join me in the studio.